I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast, episode number 166. This one's with Brandi Augustus, and we talk about comedy. Brandi is a comedian I met here in Knoxville, but she tours all over the place, has a tremendous story. We had a good time, went deep, but also had some laughs. I appreciate Brandi so much for coming on. If you want to find out more information about her, or more importantly, make sure you see her perform stand-up, go to brandiaugustus.com, BrandiAugustus.com. But yeah, I appreciate Brandi for coming on. Sponsor this week is Feral Giant. Feral Giant is a graphic design, illustration, and social media consultation company based here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Though they do work for clients big and small all over the country, all over the globe, in fact. But they also do photography, videography, video editing, and audio editing, website design, SEO, writing, content development. Hell, they'll babysit your kids if it nets them money. So make sure you give them a follow on social media on either Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn at @FeralGiant. And be sure to give them an email today and hire them for your next project. Without much further ado, here's the episode. Where are you originally from?
I was born in Plainfield, New Jersey, but I was raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. My mom moved us to Cincinnati in 1990 when I was 5.
Oh my God. Plainfield, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Where? I don't know where that is. New Jersey. Is it near, like, close to the city or out in the sticks?
To be 100% honest, I have no idea. I have never gone back, like, investigated. Yeah. I haven't pulled up a map. I just know when I say it, other people who are from Jersey, they'll say, oh, that's next to such and such. And I'll be like, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
I've got friends who live in East Brunswick, New Jersey, which is next to New Brunswick, New Jersey, which is where Rutgers is. So,
right. And I want to say it's in that area-ish because my mother went to Rutgers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like all of the cities that she lived in Jersey were all around the same area. Like my sister was born in like Rahway and then Piscataway and stuff like that or whatever. So I don't know where any of those are. I just know my mother did not travel far, you know?
I know those from songs. I know those cities from songs. Oh my God. Okay, so Cincinnati. In 1990?
1990. I lived from 1990 until like 2008.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of growth in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh, I was a very different person then. And the people who knew me in Cincinnati do not know who I am now. Like that just not, because it was like formative years. Like I moved out of Cincinnati like right after, like a few years after I graduated high school or whatever. And from there I had went to Little Rock, Arkansas for 2 years. And that was just a series of unfortunate events. But even that person that I was in Little Rock, like I don't even know her anymore.
Okay.
That was a very different bitch. That was a survival.
These are some great cultural swings from New Jersey to Cincinnati to
Chile.
The Midwest to then
Little Rock. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a different kind of South. I don't know what.
I had never met. There are people that I have met now from Little Rock. Let me say that now, like within the last like maybe 7 years that are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it surprises me that they're from Little Rock, like born in Little Rock or whatever, because the motherfuckers that I know from Little Rock are not amazing. Okay. My son's dad.
Yeah.
My youngest son's dad Me and him, we have a great relationship now. We actually had just like a kind of bonding moment earlier today because he's in the Marines and he's stationed in California now. But he's from Little Rock, born and raised, and we met online on Yahoo Chat or whatever.
Okay.
So throwback, the reason that Chris Hansen exists, like, you know.
Would you like some wine coolers?
There's some cookies on the counter. Help yourself. Like, I know the men that was showing up, you know.
Yeah.
But we met online and like we had like, I mean, it was good. We were both young. And I was a young mom. I had just had my oldest son or whatever. But so I moved down there with him because he didn't want to move to Cincinnati. He said that the buildings was too close together. And I should have known then that there was something fundamentally wrong with this man. But I get down there and it was just like bullshit after bullshit. Like his mom hated me. But me and him, we would get into the dumbest arguments. Like one time we got into an argument about hamburgers because I had stopped eating pork. And he was like, "What?" And I wanted a burger. And he was like, "Well, how you going to eat a burger if you stop eating pork?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not going to get bacon on it or whatever." He was like, "But it's literally in the name. It says hamburger." He called, or what do you think a beef pork chop is?
Beef pork chop? I don't even know.
A steak.
Oh, gee. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, God. Okay. Like a tomahawk. Oh, God.
Friend.
Education system in Arkansas, although we're in Tennessee, so I can't say
not much better. Like, if they're
49.
52nd, we're 51st. Like, you know.
Yeah. I was going to go high.
You did. You said
49 and 48. Like, I was going to go super high. Super high. Because Mississippi's got to be below us.
I was going to say, I forgot about Mississippi.
Mississippi's got to be below us. But Arkansas. So I do have friends that worked on an Airstream, fixed it up for a year, quit their jobs, and traveled across the country. And they said the two best art scenes they saw were outside of Dallas, Texas, and outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, this is in the last 10 years. I would say.
Okay. I haven't been there.
Okay.
I've been here for the last 14, so I don't know nothing about that.
To me, that just means craft beer and white people.
And white people with craft beer. Yes, that's
A lot of people look like me. A lot of beards. A lot of beards. Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, Cincinnati. Though Cincinnati back then was still, I always think of towns like that where their downtown was kind of dead.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and it just over time, craft beer.
Craft beer do it. The great uniter of white people. It's
oh, God, how true that's
like, no, honestly, my first like introduction to Knoxville was butt chugging.
Oh, butt chugging, yeah.
Yeah.
Those poor kids.
Yeah. I was like, okay, and they say that white people don't have culture. Like, that's definitely some white people shit. Like,
Lord. That needs to be a t-shirt. Like butt chugging, white people culture since 2008 or whenever that was.
Yep.
Oh my God. Butt chugging, yeah. What the takeaway I had from that, you're watching, they did a press conference. Why the hell they did that press conference?
Best fucking press conference ever.
But all the boys, because they were boys. They were boys. They were not young men. Those were boys.
No, those were boys.
They look like the dorky. They look like the kids from was it Revenge of the Nerds?
Yes.
Like it was just the weirdest grouping of kids in their dad's jackets because their jackets were all too
they
big.
were never all ill fitting.
Yeah.
But my biggest takeaway from that
Yeah.
was the lawyer trying to convince the world that he wasn't gay. He was
Oh my God. Okay, so that needs to be a show. You all do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 of that press conference. And then just add commentary. I don't know that you can add commentary that's funnier
than what's already there.
Oh my God. Okay, Cincinnati, growing up there, what was it like being in Cincinnati? What was Cincinnati like?
Cincinnati was hard.
Okay.
I had a really, really hard childhood. I had a mother who was addicted to substance abuse. That's literally why she moved us to Cincinnati from Jersey. I have a bit where I talk about my mother moving us or whatever because she wanted to put us in a better environment. Like she was a crackhead. She literally was a crackhead. Okay. And she moved us from Jersey to Cincinnati to get us out of that environment or whatever. But she forgot to take the crack out of her purse. So I'm still raised by a crackhead, you know? And you know, she dealt with things that like a lot of people, whether they're dealing with like substance abuse or not, like a lot of women seek love and companionship. And my mother chased that her whole life. And that means that she really put me and my sister in some really like fucked up situations because of it.
Yeah.
So I had a really, really rough upbringing. I on my Instagram today, I had posted a story because I came across a Facebook post from a girl who I've been friends with since I was like 11, but her father sexually assaulted me when I was 11. And I don't know why we're friends on Facebook. Like, we didn't become friends on Facebook until we were like adults or whatever. And I don't know who initiated it and whatever, but the fire I see that's in my chest, that when I see her post things, like she had posted like a 31 pictures or something, a family something. And I was like, if I see this man, what happens if I see this man or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I don't need to feel like this. And then I posted on Instagram. I was like, should I just delete her? I need like some affirmation here. Like, what am I holding on to this? I don't even talk to her. Haven't talked to her in years. Like, so I had to let that go. And I realized like I hold on to a lot of trauma from Cincinnati, from things that happened to me. And it's been decades since I've been there. And I really need to let some of the stuff go.
Do you... Maybe do you go to therapy or do anything?
It was in therapy for a long time. I'm not actively in therapy now, but I have access to my therapist. Like, he's just one of those people, like, I'll shoot him a text like, ooh, it's a really hard day or whatever. And he's like, what's going on? And we do it that way so he don't have to charge me.
you buy him a box of cigars at the end of every year. Like, thanks, man. Thanks for looking out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Cincinnati was she following somebody down there why she picked Cincinnati?
No. Oh, so that is a story I've never talked about.
Okay.
So we actually got there. She was dating a man named Melvin in Jersey. And so what really happened was my aunt, like my mother was so damn bad that my aunt was going to try and get custody of me and my sister. Yeah. So instead of doing that, my mother moved us so they didn't have access to us. And she moved with Melvin, but Melvin had AIDS. So as soon as we moved to Cincinnati, he got really, really bad. Like, we had a 2-bedroom, but I remember like that the second bedroom was supposed to be me and my sisters. But Melvin was so bad that he had a dialysis machine and he had to take the second bedroom. Then my mom, love her so, she has since like gone on to glory or whatever, but she was a hoe. And she started dating this man as soon as we moved down there with the man that she came down dating.
Oh my God.
Living in the house. Yeah, it was wild. My mother was a very wild woman. Yeah.
Okay. So Cincinnati, and then you go... Did you, when you were a kid, like, were you into like comedy or anything like that?
No, but I was always funny, and I was always somebody that people knew because of my humor, and I was always a good person to be around. Like, people would just invite me to things just to have me there. Like, no real specific intention for me, but they knew that I was good to be around. And then a lot of people also knew that I just ain't want to be home, because it was like when my mother's like, boyfriend after that husband or whatever, she ended up marrying him or whatever, was in the house. He was like in and out of jail a lot. I hated being there. Right. So I did a lot of stuff like when it was not until middle school or whatever, but that's when I joined the volleyball team. And then I did like the poetry society. And then when I joined high school or got in high school, I joined a band. I was in M Square SE. I was in National Society of Black Engineers. I was like anything that the school offered, if I could be at school all day, that's where I was going to be. Oh my God. You know? Oh
God, you're the opposite of most kids. Yeah. Most kids are like when I was in middle school over here at Whittles, standing at the door at 3:29,
ready to go.
Get me to the hell. Yeah. The minute that bell rings, it will not finish ringing before that door will start. Ringing closed behind me.
See, and then the way my living situation was set up. So my mother was the apartment manager of our apartment building. And then the building right next door was the local rec center. And then the building right next door to that was our high school. I ended up working at the rec center. So it was like, I didn't even leave off my block, for anything. So I'm like, I didn't mind staying at school because it was like maybe a 10-minute walk home. And most of like 8 of those minutes was just walking uphill off campus.
Okay. Yeah. What's the age difference between you and your sister?
4 years. She is 6. 4 years. I'm lying. That's my children's age difference. My sister is 16 months older than me.
Older than you. Okay. Was she also creative or
No.
No?
She was just like my mother.
Okay.
They were very much like after the attention of men. And my sister is gorgeous. My sister looks just like Tyra Banks. Skinny, big titties, like beautiful, like hazel colored eyes that also change color depending on her mood because she is also an alien. We discovered that a long time ago. But she's the one that first got me into stuff because she's tall. She's 6'1". I'm 5'10". So, but my mother was like 5'6" or whatever. But she joined volleyball because one of her teachers told her that she was wasting her height and she needed to join a sport, but she was way too uncoordinated for basketball.
Okay.
So she joined volleyball when she was in middle school, and I wanted to just not be home. So I was like, oh shit, we can join volleyball? Yeah. So I joined volleyball with my sister. She made it through like 2 or 3 practices, and then I stayed on the team. Like I finished out the year.
She was out.
Oh, she ain't like none of that shit. My sister was like, if she was ever going to be anything, like really apply and like put her mind to it, she could have been a phenomenal model. But she just didn't have the drive. She just, my mother gave everything to her, not me. So that's why I'm so driven. Like I always had to support myself. But my sister was given a lot. So when my mother died, she didn't have anything, you know, and she didn't have even like the basis of like a strong foundation of work, because she was never had to keep a job because she could quit whenever she wanted to. And she knew my mother was going to take care of her. That was never an option for me. So I had to like persevere and put up with a whole bunch of bullshit, you know? So
is she still a lot like your sister?
Ooh,
we can move on.
No. She's better now. My sister is a lot better now, but it's because she's had to be, and she's also had some really, really like intense struggles that's happened like in the last years, even before my mother passed. Like she was in it was an abusive relationship. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. She was in an abusive relationship with her ex-husband, and he told her like, I don't want to have any more kids. They both had separate kids. He was like, I don't want to have any more, but they weren't using protection, and she got pregnant with twins.
Oh God.
And he divorced her and then sued her for full custody of the children. So now she pays like $1,200 a month in child support or whatever. And like, I can't fathom not having my children and having to pay somebody. But she has them all the time. Like she has her twins. It's just a really, really messed up situation. But the way she is so strong, the way that she's handling it, because I would have killed him by now.
Oh yeah.
I would like, there's no, we ain't both gonna be walking around, you know.
he would just disappear. It's like, you won't go on a hike, man? Let's go into the Smokies.
Look over the cliff, you know?
Yeah. Kick him right over.
So, but she's a lot better now, but I think it's just because she's had to be.
Okay.
You know, and she's calmed down a lot too.
When you so you're doing all these things in school, did you kind of have an idea of what you wanted to do for a living? No.
I didn't think that I was going to make it past like 21. In Cincinnati, like the life expectancy for like inner city black kids was very short. Okay. Nobody really knew what they was going to do. There was no plan for your future because you're not going to have a future. One of my closest friends, I call him my brother, Gerard Mason, he was murdered in a nightclub. And I had known him since I moved to Cincinnati. Like we would get on a bus together and go to elementary school. And then I guess I graduated in 2003. I'd say maybe 05 or 06. He was murdered in a nightclub. And I was down in Little Rock, Arkansas with that guy. And that's when I had decided that I was going to move to Arkansas.
Okay.
Like that night.
Little side note. So I grew up on the east side and went to Fulton.
Oh,
I'm sure people that listen to this are tired of hearing me talk about this, but it's a weird anomaly. But it's so... I don't like guns. I'm not a fan of guns. And it's so weird talking to people about not liking guns. And then there are literally people where I've just said, I went to Fulton. And they're like, okay, never mind. I was like, yeah, because I saw drive-bys and shit when I was young. I was like, yeah, dumbass. Like, but it's weird that that's what it takes to get people to understand that point. Yeah. Don't know why I'm interjecting.
No.
I understand.
No, I get it. I get it. I get why
and
you're
it was,
interjecting.
we had a teacher move over from West to Fulton my senior year. And she was just all sunshine and rainbows of like, y'all are all going to go to college. And we're like, no. Like, I'm in the back going, I think I'm going to Pellissippi. Or I was being recruited by a few places because of art and that kind of stuff. And then size for sports.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was just like, I can't afford to go any of those places. Like,
yeah.
I can't do that. But it was very interesting going up there. But yeah, so I understand the losing people, because we've at our 20-year reunion, we realized that I think it's up to 3/4. 3/4 of our graduating class are dead, in jail, or have done prison time. And we're just all standing around like, holy shit, we made it.
Yeah.
Like, we made it.
It's
out of here.
wild.
Yeah.
I just passed my, I guess it's my 21-year anniversary now, whatever. I graduated in 2003. And somebody started a group chat. It was class of 2003, class of 2004. Let's plan something. We have never had a reunion or whatever. And I didn't look and see who all was in it, but people kept leaving. And I was like, oh shit, it's good to see that he's still alive. Like,
yeah.
You know,
There was a small group of us that were worried about one of the guys, so we all met at Barley's. And this guy walks up, and I was just like, Chucky, I haven't seen you since like 1994. And I was like, Jody. He's like, dude, I've done a couple stints in prison. I don't remember you. And I was like,
oh,
I
shit.
literally grew up, like, we were little kids together.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should remember. Okay. You've done 2 stints. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're out, Chucky.
I'm glad you're here. Glad to see you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, please stop smoking. He went outside to smoke. I was like, you're not a small man. Let's stop smoking, man.
Yeah.
It's like, let's, I don't know. It was very odd. It was very odd. I want to take in pictures of the two of us together when we were kids and go, remember these two little kids?
Yeah.
That was me. And that's you.
He's like, I don't know neither one of them.
Yeah. Well, so this is a funny, not funny. In my family, it was my dad, and he had 2 brothers that were very close. One was 2 years older, one was 1 year younger. So their love language is picking on one another.
I don't like that.
So I was the only grandkid for 10 years. So if they liked you, they picked on you.
Yeah.
So we're coming home from basketball. It's me, Chucky, Charles, and little Mikey. 3 of them are black. I'm white. Dad's white. And we pull over here on Edgewood, and they had the shutters on the side of the windows.
Yeah.
And it said K, 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 K. And Dad just pulled over and goes, all right, this is y'all's house, right? And they're just, no, Coach Collins. No. It was whoever lived there, but it was like, what a bad choice to put KK, KK on the side. And Dad was just like, y'all don't live here. Like, he was just messing with them.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
Please don't make us go there. Wait a minute. Don't drop us off here.
And he's like, oh, okay, guys. And he just took him up around the house. And I was like, oh, my God. I would love to. I'm trying to think. Little Mikey's been in jail a bunch. Chucky's been in jail. I don't know where Charles is. Yeah. It's like, but I would love to ask them now. It's like, I know we were all kids, but was that okay?
Right.
And he was just joking. Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Look, you worry about it, and they probably forgot that it even happened.
Well, and knowing my dad, if I brought it up to him, I think I brought it up to him, and he was just like, he just loved that he picked on somebody. Like,
yeah.
That was his thing. Okay, so you go to Little Rock, Arkansas for a couple years, and it was
awful. Yeah. Oh, God. It was not good. Like, I thought that I was in love. And what's real is I just wanted to get out of Cincinnati because, like, not only had, like, my brother died, but I had gone to jail. And the only reason why I went to jail is because, like, my mother used to beat my ass, like, from the time that I was a little kid or whatever until the time that I was an adult. And I was an adult. And she, like, tried to jump on me again. And I finally defended myself against her. And she called the police on me, sent me to jail. But her and my sister used to fist fight in the middle of the street. Never called the police on my sister.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh no, this ain't it or whatever. So once my brother died, and I was down in Little Rock, I was like, okay, let me move down there with you. Like, yeah, I guess I love you. So he moved up, or he came up to Cincinnati. I had a whole apartment. Like, I had my own spot or whatever. And he came up with just a F-350 truck that he had rented, and we put as much stuff as we could into the back of that truck. And it was me and my youngest son, or my oldest son, and we did that 9-hour trip down to Little Rock to move into his parents' home. They had a 3-bedroom home, but it was like 5 people that lived there or whatever.
Okay.
And then they had an aunt, a nephew that used to always be over there like day and night, and then another brother who was at college somewhere else, but he would come home often. So it was like very cramped quarters. It was literally probably the dirtiest place that I've ever lived in my life. Like, I've never lived in a place that, like, I've lived places that had roaches. I've never lived in a place that had like a roach infestation, like where it's like all over the walls. You see like the residual effects. Like, you can't like move anything because they'll run out from stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm not like OCD clean, but I'm a very clean person. Like, and that, it just floored me. So like, I spent one day, like when I got there, just cleaning, scrubbing the kitchen from top to bottom, because I had to use it for me and my son. Like, you know, and they got mad at me.
Oh my God.
They would get mad at me. Not Sarge, rest his soul. Sarge was the only person. He was the dad, my son's granddad, that really defended me. But the mother, the sister, who was like 13 at the time, and the aunt hated me, and they ran the house. And they made my life hell. So I lived there with them for 2 months until I got us our own spot. We got a townhome, because I was used to having my own. I had been on my own since I was like 16. And he was just a liar. He would just lie about so many things, and I wasn't used to that. But it started to get physically like violent or whatever, and I was used to that, but never me. I was used to like watching it, but I had never been in a physically abusive relationship before. But I knew that that's not what I wanted. You know, he was a little guy. He was like 5'6", 5'7", or whatever. King. So yeah, short king. I love a short king. I stand. Both my son's dads are short kings. Okay, but he would do dumb shit. And like one time, the very first time things had gotten like just the least bit physical, he got mad at me for watching TV, or the TV was up too loud or whatever. And he was like, turn it down because they're going to call. I said, who going to call the police? Ain't nobody ever called the police on us because the TV too loud. You're just trying to be controlling. Like, and he went to snatch the remote from me. So I stood up and just held it up above my head.
Oh my
God.
God.
He jumped up like 3 or 4 times and realized how silly he was, and then tried to pull me down. And then we're like wrestling on the ground or whatever. And I get behind him, and we're both on our hands and knees. Well, he's on his hands and knees, and I'm behind him holding his waist. And I'm like, are you done? Do you know how silly you look right now? Not this calm. I'm definitely yelling at him or whatever. And he's like doing his thing where he's trying to like Super Saiyan power up on me. Like, just kept going, oh! Like trying. I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah. And I'm like, I just walked out or whatever. And that was like maybe 3 months until the last incident, the next incident, which was the last incident, which was him calling me out my name. We had been engaged and then got unengaged, but we were still living together. And then I wasn't working at this time because I just had our son. And he was working for Loomis, which is the money transport services or whatever. So there were often times where he told me, like, you know, they got to call a bank to let the bank know that they're outside or blah, blah, blah. So he had all these numbers in his phone. Well, one day at 7:38 p.m., the bank, THEBANK, calls him. And I was like, the bank's calling.
Yeah. Interesting. They're working this way.
Yeah, it's 7:30. Come on. And he was like, what? And I said, you tell that bitch not to call here this late, or I don't give a fuck what's going on. Don't disrespect me in my house. I don't care what y'all doing. Don't disrespect me in my house. Don't be talking to nah. And he's like, you don't know what the fuck you talking about, bitch, blah, 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 blah. And like kept calling me a bitch, like kept like disrespecting me. And I had stopped cooking for him at this time. So he had just made some noodles and he had sat down on the bed. He only had on his boxers and he had the bowl of noodles in between his legs. And instead of just like twirling the noodles and getting them all on a fork and then putting them into his mouth, he would scoop up just some noodles and then hold them over his head and then drop them into his mouth. Every single bite.
Oh God.
He like just dumb shit like that. So while he was like up here about to drop the noodles into his mouth, I walked past him and tipped the bowl on his dick, grabbed my babies and walked out. I was over it.
Oh God.
And I don't advocate it, and it was fucked up, and I don't condone violence against anybody for any reason, especially not that. But it was the catalyst for me moving to Knoxville.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had called my best friend who I had met at high school in Cincinnati, and she had went to UT, had gotten a scholarship down here. So she had been down here for a few years, and I called her immediately, like, girl, because he had called the police on me too. And I see why, but
Yeah. No.
but I was like, girl, he called the police on me and I'm not safe and I'm going over my friend's house. So, but I don't know what I'm going to do after this. And she was like, I'm going to send you a Greyhound ticket. You and the kids come down here for 2 weeks and then figure out what you're doing. Because you can't go home to Cincinnati, but you can't go back to that town home. We need to figure out what's going to be safe for you.
And you don't know what town you were in New Jersey. So sorry. Call back. Sorry.
I know what town, I just didn't know where it was.
Sorry.
But yeah, so she sent me a Greyhound ticket, and so let's say that happened on a Wednesday. I was in Knoxville by that Friday.
And you said 14 years you've been? How long you been here?
I've been here since 2010. That happened.
Oh my God. Okay.
July of 2010, because it happened weeks before school started.
Okay.
And like I was here, I had enough wherewithal. I mean, it was God, the universe, whoever, like the Lord of Light, I don't know, like really had it to where it was like, well, leave everything, take your clothes, but take your important documents. Take all of your important documents with you. But my mother also taught me that because we were houseless so much. Like if you travel with anything, like anytime you travel, you take your important documents with you because you'll never know where you end up. That's life of a nomad, I guess. Yeah. So I had all of our important documents, and as soon as we touched down in Knoxville, my sister was like, look, the family, like, shout out to God and the church, because y'all people be doing y'all big ones sometimes, but sometimes things get a little sketchy. Yeah. But she was going to this church out west, and she was house sitting for a family that was actually in California doing job training, and they had like this 3-bedroom house, and she was like, I already talked to them, and they said that you and the kids can stay here for as long as I'm here or whatever, and that'll probably be until like November, December or whatever, but you can't go back there, and they don't want you to go back there. And that church looked out for me. They bought me my very first car. Like a family in that church bought me my very first car, all that shit. Like I did not have to buy clothes for my kids for the first like 3-4 years that I was here.
That's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. I had never been cared like that, cared for like that ever in my life by anybody.
At any point did you go like, what do you want in return?
I'm like, is this really okay? Yeah. I see why people like Jesus. Okay, that's my homie.
Or did I hit my head in the shower and this is all a dream?
Right. If I wake up and I'm still in the hood, I'm be mad as hell. You know? Or worse, I'm down in Arkansas still. That would have been terrible.
Oh, God. Okay, so I have a weird theory. Here, I'll float my word. You said don't condone violence. I've gotten to the age where I've started disagreeing with that statement.
Oh, okay.
To where my feeling is there's some people that don't know what it's like getting punched in the face.
Oh, and they need it.
They need it.
Yeah. No,
I told a story about somebody who was. I used to do an event at the Central Collective for the Love Kitchen where we did. I assume you know Adeem, so I'll say Adeem helped put it on, and it was a Christmas show that benefited the Love Kitchen. 100% of the money went. There was a couple that came in that were drunk and super shitty, and my dad was there helping me out, and he is also very black and white of just like, they didn't pay. She didn't pay when she came in. She needs to pay.
Yeah.
And he was like, because this is not us making money. No. This is going to, like, he was very, and I was like, well, her husband's right out there. He'll pay. He came in there and was so shitty to me and literally wadded up the money and threw it. And I was like, he doesn't know what it's like to be punched in the face.
No,
I'm about
never,
to
it's never
and it was
happened.
like almost having to hold my dad back. I'm just
Oh,
being like,
shit.
Dad's going to come over the top of me. And
Yeah.
he's a former truck driver. And
We're going to jump this fool.
You will not make it out of here, man. And your little daughter's in here, and that's what she's going to get to.
God.
Yeah, and they were just came back up, and I had baked cookies. This all makes me sound in a super positive light.
It
That's
really
not
does.
why that's not why I'm telling this story. But I baked cookies, and I was like, they're $5 a piece. All the money goes to Love Kitchen. However, I was just trying to figure out ways we can make money, and they got shitty about having to pay for the cookies. And I was like, y'all, and they were drunk. That's the point I would like to keep hammering home is that they drove there with their 5 or 6 year old daughter drunk, and then left drunk. And they were shitty the whole time. And it was just like, he doesn't know what it's like to be punched in the face. He needs to learn what it's like to be punched in the face.
Yep. And you know what? If they were high,
Yeah.
they would have bought all them
Oh,
fucking
my God.
cookies.
If they were high, he would have been doing in a cartoon,
money,
thumbing
right?
off money. Like, how much you need? Here, just take it all. Here, just take it all.
That's why I'm an advocate for the flower, because I can't drink. I don't drink anymore. Yeah.
It does not affect me.
Alcohol?
Nope. Like, I have sat and drank an entire bottle of Jack Daniels and it stone cold sober.
What?
You're
a very solid man.
I'm a very large man.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that.
But not even just like you're solid. You have like a very firm handshake.
thank
I'm
you.
just like, okay.
But like so I have started making the analogy. It's like, I don't drink that much. Because I was like, would you pay $14 for a Coca-Cola? No. I was like, so that's what it's like for me. So I don't drink as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Weed, I had my time back then. Can't anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I know my head is probably not in the right space to do it. And I know it's also a lot stronger now. Mm-hmm. I was like, let me get right and then I'll think about it. I've thought about it for like helping with sleep, and I don't sleep really well, and I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you a very personal question. I'm going to skip past. Nah. Yeah. I was like, you know what helps? Okay.
Oh.
Well, do you masturbate to go to sleep? I'm like, that usually helps me. It
Doesn't
solves
help.
all my problems.
Nope.
Yeah, God damn, if there's something wrong, you should go see a doctor.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just my brain is very like fires.
Yeah. Oh,
So sometimes
where
like just trying to get it to.
it's all the books. It's all that book learning.
Yeah, it's all that book learning. Holy shit. It's, because I'll be, sitting in bed, it's like, wait, was Jack Klugman in that movie? Like something that doesn't mean anything. It's just trying to get my brain to kind of circle down and like wind
Do you
down
have
like
a routine?
I have gotten to a point to where when I was just in Nashville, I was like, I did not sleep worth a damn, because it was like, I don't have a good noisemaker. I don't, don't have the mask to, I like complete darkness.
Oh,
Like just all that stuff. Like it was harder to sleep. But yeah, I have heard that weed can help with.
it can help. Also, mushrooms, microdosing.
Yeah.
It's a very like clean feeling for me. But it does make you sleepy too.
Okay.
Like it's just such a roller coaster of things that happen because you're legitimately poisoning yourself. But at one point in time, it makes you very sleepy. It makes me very sleepy.
Okay.
So it's like, if I need to sleep, I'll go ahead and microdose some mushrooms.
So another weird here. We're just getting into factoids here. If I take if I'm sick and really need to sleep and take NyQuil, if I try to take it on the third night, doesn't work.
It won't work. Yeah.
Nope. I take one thing that really does help is I smoke cigars.
Oh, word.
And cigars, I think it's because that's all you're doing for that time.
Yeah.
I've always said it's more of like my friends and I try to be the non-douchey cigar smokers.
Okay.
We're
Because
like,
they can be very douchey.
Oh, trust me, we want to punch them in the face.
Okay.
But it's more just like the hang and the
the fellowship of it.
Yeah. And a lot of times when I'm done smoking a cigar, I think it's because it's just
It's calming.
2 hours of that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's by the end of it, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go to sleep. Like,
Maybe you should do that. Maybe that should
start
be another
smoking
thing.
cigars.
I don't know how healthy that is, but just at night,
Also, if you saw some of the
Why
food I ate,
no?
I don't know that that's much healthier. The big Inskip Grill or Jackie's Dream. Fried
Yo,
chicken.
and Skip Grill is the shit though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Inskip Grill is amazing.
Yeah. And Jackie's. There's so many great restaurants. There's a lot of shitty restaurants in Knoxville right now too, but there are some absolutely like phenomenal restaurants right
There are a
now.
lot of overhyped restaurants in town.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
My favorite, my top four, well, one of them's about to close. And I'm really disappointed it's about to close. But my top four are Jackie's, Inskip Grill, La Esperanza back here.
Yeah.
And I love It's Also Yummy Cafe out in West Knoxville, the grilled cheese and soup place.
Word.
But Kim is she's tired.
I know that's right.
And she was like, I'm just done. It's my
Yeah.
decision. I'm done. I'll do something else. But I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, she made it through the pandemic. Like, and she's leaving on her terms. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another,
yeah.
like,
That's an
she made it.
accomplishment.
Yeah. But yeah, Inskip and Jackie's and La Esperanza.
You rock
Good-
with Soul Brothers?
I do like Soul Brothers. Yeah.
So
Vic,
for
yeah.
me, they are they never miss.
Yeah.
I've never gotten anything from them, and I try to get something different every time. Like
Yeah.
after I was like getting the same thing or whatever, damn Bat Bowls had me.
Yeah.
But everything I've never had anything from them that didn't hit. And then Kianga's Kitchen has made me love vegan food, and I'm not a vegan. Please give me meat.
Yeah, I have not gotten by there to try because food hall. I love that we have the food hall. The food hall prices are about 30%
Ridiculous.
more than they should be.
Ridiculous.
Which I know
Yeah.
cost of food, and I know it's expensive to.
Rent out that place,
Yes.
and it's expensive.
It's expensive, but it's. I'm trying to think. There's all kinds of places that I go. I like Good Golly Tamale.
I hate tamales.
Really?
Yeah, and people always want to invite me. And I believe that Good Golly Tamale has great tamales because everybody says
Yeah.
that, but I hate Mesa.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to mention the ones I want to slag off, but the other thing is there are places that used to be good that have kind of gone downhill, and it kind of bums me out.
There was a Indian restaurant that opened up during the pandemic that was absolutely amazing when they first opened. Very extremely flavorful, had the spices right. And then I think we went back like 2 months later or whatever, very different palate. And we asked them, it was like, why it doesn't taste the same? And it was like, well, we were getting complaints that things were too spicy. It was too much
Never too spicy. Never too spicy. My governor's broken on spice.
I'm just like, I wish that
Yeah.
white people would stop eating at places and then complaining about the ethnic, like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, yeah. Put some mayonnaise on it.
It's
shut
too
up.
spicy.
Too
God.
spicy. Oh, I used to do chili cooks where I would make 6 or 7 crock pots of chili.
Oh,
And my base level one, I didn't think had much of any heat to it. And some of my friends were like, "You're trying to kill me."
oh my God.
And then I would make one little pot that it was like two jalapenos, one habanero, spicy sausage, and then all kinds of seasoning. But it was in a thing like this big, so it was a lot in
like
a little container.
250,000 on a Scoville scale.
And
Like,
only 2 of my friends had the guts to eat that with me. I was like, "It's a little hot, man."
oh my! What do you put in your chili? Like not like in the chili, but like as far as toppings or whatever. Do you eat your chili with anything?
I usually like Fritos and cheese.
Okay.
I don't like sour cream. Sour cream's not my jam. And anything else I'll mix in there, like jalapenos or stuff. Peppers, I will mix in with it. I don't like topping that. I actually
Yeah.
like it cooking in the thing. But
Yeah.
my chili is also super meaty. Like the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
crock pot was it like 5 or 6 pounds of meat, a pound of hot sausage,
Damn.
which is my stripper name.
Okay, hot
Sorry,
sausage.
a pack of Benton's bacon,
Okay.
and then it's pinto beans, and then a mix of seasoning.
Okay.
And it's my mom's recipe that I have adapted and made a little bit hotter because
Mm-hmm.
hers wasn't that hot. So it's like cayenne pepper, chili pepper, but then I add shoot, now I'm going to blank on what it's called. Oh my God, I've lost it. It's the seasoning. It's the liquid stuff out of Alabama. Dale's seasoning.
Dale's, okay.
Dale's and a little bit of Worcestershire.
Yeah.
To beef up the meatiness of it, but it is just like thick as hell. I don't like watery chili.
Yeah,
not
no.
my jam.
My mother doesn't either. Like, she loved that she called it Texas chili, just
Okay.
a big thick chili or whatever,
Yeah.
very meaty chili. Because in Cincinnati, we have a very different type of chili.
Skyline.
And she hated it. I love Skyline. I love Skyline.
So I got my dad and my uncle's Skyline chili shirts for Christmas like 2 years ago.
Word.
Because they went up to, this was before your time, but they went up to Hands Across America in Cincinnati.
Somebody was just talking about that. Somebody was just talking about
Why
that.
nobody's done a documentary on Hands Across America?
My God.
I would love to see it.
Oh, my God.
But they went up there and they had friends that lived up there and they had Skyline. They loved Skyline. And I was like, it's not my thing. It is not my thing.
Give me a good three-way. My mama thought that somebody was offering her sex when we first moved down there. Like, because I remember we were at the bus stop and she had met a guy from New York or whatever. We are just all at the bus stop.
Yeah.
And because, like, accents, East Coast accents always attract, like, East Coast people. And they were sitting there talking and she was like, well, what do y'all eat down here? Like, he was like, shit, Skyline. Like, we eat Skyline. You go and get you a three-way. And she said, excuse me, young man, like, I don't need you talking to me like this in front of my children. Like, he was like, nah, it's the chili, and then he was like, it's the noodles, and then the chili, and then you get it with the cheese and then the onions, and then sometimes you can get the beans in it. Like, and I'm like, that doesn't sound good at all. And then I ended up loving it.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't know the last time I've had it, but I don't know. I might have to try again.
You do. And like, make sure, you probably won't remember this, but like, if you're eating it there, like, you'll see, like, you don't eat it like spaghetti.
Right.
You cut it. You got to cut it and scoop it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you make sure you get like perfect proportions of each item.
I might have to, okay. Is that considered fast food? I haven't had fast food in 21 years. So
that's impressive.
I don't know if do they have drive-thrus at Skyline? If they don't have drive-thrus, I don't count.
Gold Star has drive-thrus, but not Skyline. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Then that's one of those weird things of like, I've never had Whataburger. I've never had In-N-Out. And there's part of me that's like, I might eventually have to try that. Because the hype and all the shit around it.
So no fast food, but you do restaurants.
Yes.
You do, okay.
And I try to not do chains.
Yeah.
Like that was a conscious decision at the same time. I did get donuts in Nashville, and I found out later they were a chain. They're called Parlor.
Yeah.
But they are
really good.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They're so fluffy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, these are so indulgent and amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I don't care that they're a chain. I'm fine. It'll all be good.
It's okay. Give yourself grace.
Yeah. So maybe, Skyline chili. That'll be I'll take my dad up there.
Yes.
I'll have some Skyline chili. And my uncle will be pissed that we didn't bring him along with us. Probably. I'm
going to be pissed. Just to let you know. Go ahead and put that out there. Yeah.
So you're in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And so you move back here. You move here. You got 2 kids. Mm-hmm. What were their ages when you moved here?
I guess 5 and 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you stayed at that house till November, December, or
until we ended up getting an apartment together, me, my sister, and my kids, at Steeplechase Apartments.
Yeah.
Awful.
Really? Okay.
It wasn't like the management was awful or the apartment was awful, whatever. We had a 3-bedroom that had vaulted ceilings. The KUB for our first month was $900.
Holy hell.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we stayed there for like 3 months, had to end up breaking the lease because it was like $900 each month. So we had to break that lease. And then that's when I finally got my own apartment and I moved to, I guess, Fountain City. Yeah. It was Fountain City. And I lived on Rennick, yes. And because Rennick, the cross street or whatever, like the main thoroughfare or whatever, I think it was Tazewell or whatever, but the cross street from that was Connor.
Yeah.
And I didn't know for years that Rennick is just Connor backwards. I was like, oh, they're so innovative.
In the early days of Instagram, I was sitting at that lot and I was like, Rennick is such a weird word. And I
Yeah.
took a picture of it and I posted it and I was like, this looks like Connor backwards.
Yeah.
And somebody commented with a News Sentinel article and said why it was Rennick. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You couldn't just come up with another name.
No, not at all.
No.
No, but I lived on Rennick. I lived on Rennick for a few years. And then my mother moved down here. She was trying to get clean. But I lived on the second floor and she had bad knees. So I got a different apartment that was on the first floor, and that was out in Powell. So I lived in Powell for 7 years. My mother did not. My mother, it was like right after Mother's Day. I had gotten into a really bad car accident on Mother's Day, going to church, slammed into a back of a van, transporting like 15 women with Down syndrome to church on Mother's Day. And I'm like, I totaled my damn car. But everybody was fine. Like nobody was hurt. But my mother ended up taking out a settlement against me that I knew nothing about.
Oh, God.
Nothing about it. She got like $3,000 or whatever, but she was living with me, not paying any bills or whatever. And as soon as she got that settlement, she like calls. I didn't know that this money was coming. I knew nothing about it. I just knew that my mother was unbalanced. And when she started this argument, I just figured she was just starting an argument or whatever. But she started it so she could have a reason to move back to Cincinnati before the money got there.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're living in Powell.
Yeah.
She moves to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. What year was this?
Shit. Like 2013, 14.
2013, 2014.
Yeah, because that was like shortly around the time where I met my ex-husband. Well, I had known my ex-husband for a while, since I moved to Knoxville. Because, do you know Black Atticus?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Black Atticus.
Yeah.
That is my unofficial best friend. Do you remember his band, The Theorists?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I was a huge fan of The Theorists when I first moved here.
Pull a CD off the wall in there.
God,
Yeah.
I could show you shirts.
The funniest thing about the CD is there used to be a show at the Square Room called Scruffy City Roots where they broadcasted on PBS and they performed. And I went back to the back to say hi to Atticus and friends. So I grew up with Colby Earls, who is Kobe Kane.
I just got into an argument with him today. Keep going. I'll let you read it.
Yeah. Let me pull up, if you ever want blackmail on him, let me pull out my annuals where we discussed our junk in one another's annuals.
Oh my goodness.
For 4 straight years.
My God.
I would write paragraphs in his, and he would write paragraphs in. Why?
He
'Cause
loved.
we were
Yeah, we
stupid.
got into it over his
stupid.
paragraphs today.
We
I
were
was like, you know what? I don't even think that you believe what you're saying. I just think that you write this dissertation because you like the way the screen feels against your thumbs. I said that to him.
Oh my
And then-
But I was going to say, I go back there to say hi to Colby. I still call him Colby. He's not Kobe. He's Colby. Colby Earls.
Kobayashi.
Yeah, Colby and Atticus. And there's a younger guy in the group that keeps going, you should buy our CD. It's like,
Bush.
man, calm down. And he was like, no, you should buy our CD. It was
Bush. That sound like Bush.
Yeah. It was so funny. I was like, all right, man, here, get away.
So my ex-husband is their bass player.
Okay.
Yeah, John Augustus.
Okay. I would know him by sight.
Yeah, he was like 6'4", very quiet or whatever, but he played the hell out of a bass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met the theorists. I met Atticus or whatever. And I had been friends with Atticus and Jarius and Courageous for years.
yeah,
and
Jonathan.
then
That's right.
he
Jonathan
was
sat
a
in that very
focus.
seat, and we talked about his motorcycle accident that traumatized me.
Oh my goodness, changed that man's life.
Yeah.
Changed his life. Shout out to the homie.
Yeah.
But I had like noticed this quiet, gentle giant for years, but never said anything or whatever. And then I finally shot my shot one day, and I realized I'll never do that again. Like, I will never pursue a man because I realized that I love hard, and if a man is not pursuing me, he's not gonna love me the way that I need to be loved. So I was like, but that it taught me, because I'm like, I went through a lot with that man, and it was all because he was just comfortable. Not necessarily that he loved me. He was just comfortable. Yeah, okay. But I think we met in like or started dating in like 2014, 2015. We got married in like 2016, and then we're separated by like 2018.
Okay. Were you still living in Powell?
In Powell, still in Powell.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
Powell.
yeah.
Well, that's
That was hard too. I had
Yeah.
awful neighbors. Like my neighbors would like just antagonize me. Somebody put like dog poop in the dryer while my clothes were in there. One girl poured soda on my car and then threw a can on it. I got spit on. I had water intentionally poured on me. And I'm sitting up here arguing with this man about pouring water on me. And my husband standing right there, just as wet as I am, not saying nothing. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this with none of y'all.
Oh,
I got to get out of here.
through all this. What were you doing? Were you getting into comedy or
No, I was in the arts, just more so poetry. I had
Okay.
always been into poetry. I had always written poetry, but poetry was my outlet for being sad.
Did you ever go to the what were they called? Brent Thompson's show at the second floor of the Pres Pub. Writer's Night?
Nope.
Something like that.
I only did the Knoxville Poetry Slam stuff and then the stuff that Atticus hosted because that's
Okay.
how I met Atticus.
Okay.
Through the poetry stuff. So I never really ventured out to do anybody else's because they did so much. Atticus and Courageous and them, like just separately. So I always did that. And my ex-husband, he was a comedian. He dabbled in open mic comedy. And I say that because I realized that some people who are comedians are just open mic comedians, and he was definitely an open mic comedian. And this was like around the time where like JC Ratliff was like real big in the scene or whatever, when the Well was still a thing.
Yeah, JC Ratliff, Matt Ward.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, y'all not funny. Like, you know, I did not find any of that shit funny, but they would laugh at each other, and I was like, okay, I just don't get it. Maybe it's just like, you know, not my type of humor. So that was my first exposure to Knox comedy. But I had always done poetry. And like I said, Atticus was my unofficial best friend. So he was hosting Po Boys and Poets. And he asked me to sit in as a host because like I've always done hosting like here and there for different events. He was like, do you want to host Po Boys? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a go. But if you know anything about Atticus, he is awful at advertising things, like, you know, doing things on the forefront. So we never really had a big crowd. So I'm
just laughing because I think I tried for about 3 years to get him and Colby to come on and talk about rap music. And that was essentially me every 6 weeks going, hey guys, do you want this? And Colby going, yeah, it sounds good. I was like, all right, tell me when. Mm-hmm. And then nothing. Then 2 months later, hey guys.
Nothing. Yeah,
I love them. I love them both.
I love them. No, but I know that is exactly how they roll.
Okay, so the Po Boy. I remember the Po Boy shows.
So yeah, I would host, but we wouldn't have a lot of poets to come up. So I was feeling just a lot of that time on stage, just telling stories, because I wouldn't share a lot of my poetry because it was sad, and I didn't want to be sad, you know. So I would just get there and talk shit. I literally would just tell stories about my life or whatever, and people found it funny. And I was talking to Atticus one day, and I was like, I think this is comedy.
Yeah,
possibly. I think I want to do comedy. Can I do comedy on your mic? You know, like in between poets or whatever. It was like, yeah, do whatever you want. Bet. So then I started getting intentional about what I was saying on the mic, and that's when I started going to Brickyard for the open mic, and then Scruffy City for Beth Tompkins open mic. And that's when I really got into comedy. The like 2018.
2018. I'm trying to think of Shane. Do you know Shane Ryan? Mm-mm. Okay. He was kind of the major driver after Matt, I think, moved away.
Okay.
Yeah. Nicest guy in the world. Shane Ryan. Like he even put on a benefit show after 45 got elected. Mm. Like, and really did a great thing where it was like at 3 or 4 different places in North Knoxville, like Central Collective, let's say Stripe Light, and then the metalworking place around the corner. And you could just go and see comedy at any of those places.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it all benefited the ACLU. So Shane's the nicest guy in the world. And his story, he was on here and we did, I think, 6 or 7 hours.
Shit.
His story was, the truncated version was, he worked in PR forever. He found out within 24 hours his wife was cheating on him, and he got laid off of his job.
Oh.
So his dad, who was amazing, said, what you're going to do is you're going to come and you're going to move in with me. And you don't worry about having a job. You don't worry about anything for at least a year until you get better. And it was in that time that he was like, I want to do stand-up. And I love Shane. When he started, it was kind of rough.
Yeah.
It was kind of rough. But then as he kept developing over years, he kept getting better. And I remember there was one show he did at Open Court. And I don't know that I ever told him. I told somebody else there. I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You finally got there. I was like, but I didn't know how to say that without sounding like an asshole.
Yeah.
I was worried about you there for a while.
The last couple months been iffy.
Then he started touring all over the South. But he
Hell
met
yeah.
a woman, got married. She has 3 kids. She's super awesome too, and Tamara. And he's doing the dad thing.
Oh, word.
He was like,
That's
no,
good.
I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna do all this. He's like, I'm gonna do the dad.
He
thing.
needed that break though.
Yeah.
He needed.
It was good. And then I think after he kind of left, there wasn't anybody. Beth has always kind of been around doing shows here and there. Gail Grantham a little bit, but I think she's out in Sevier County or something.
She's aroundish.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just not doing as much anymore.
And then it wasn't until Tiny Stage came along to where I was like, oh, they're the only ones seemingly consistently.
Yeah. And then now you have Justin Mays that runs the Don't Tell, and he does all the shows at like Fly By Night and
So
Turn
I've never
Club.
met him.
Oh, you want to meet? He's very much a dude, bro. Though.
Okay.
Very frat-tastic. Like never was in a frat.
He posts on Reddit all the time.
Yes,
I see
he
him post
does.
on
He's
Reddit.
such a Redditor.
I keep seeing his name, and I'm just like, he's like, do you want to see comedy? And I was like, I bet this is a Justin Mays post.
Yeah.
And look at it. There's Justin Mays. I was like, don't know you. I can see your work everywhere. Yeah. I think they got a Don't Tell show coming up
Friday. I'm hosting.
Friday?
Yep.
I know.
Tomorrow we have a roast battle at Central Cinema, and then on Friday I'm hosting a Don't Tell.
Do they? Well, this won't come out until afterwards. Is this the one at Crown Upholstery?
Is this at Crown Upholstery? I think it is.
Because I know the couple that owns Crown Upholstery. And
Yeah,
every once in a while
yeah.
they'll post. They'll share a Don't Tell, and they'll be like,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
anything, but you
But
might want
yeah.
Which is
So
good
it
because
must
their
be.
audience is completely different. So
Yeah.
it's reaching that. Okay, so you're doing the Po' Boys, you're doing Atticus show. That's why I asked if you knew Shane. Because he ran so many shows.
I wasn't really.
Sawworks.
Yeah, I wasn't really into comedy at that time. I had never really done a show.
Yeah.
I was only doing open mics.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do with comedy. I just know that people would listen to me.
Okay.
And I like that.
Had you been listening to
not at
comedians?
all. Oh, and not even now. I didn't even start watching other comedians until here recently. And that's because I just spend so much time around other comedians who watch other comedians.
It'd be hilarious if you're like, I found this guy, George Carlin. Like, I don't know if y'all have heard about him.
So there's this guy, Cat Williams.
I still have not watched that interview. I've got it saved on my phone. I was like, I want to sit and watch it.
I've watched it 3 times. That's 9 hours. That's
I've watched
9
so many
hours.
clips. I've watched.
You need to watch the
I
whole.
know.
There is not a moment in there. I'm like, oh, I didn't need to hear this, or like this wasn't helpful. There's not a moment in that 3 hours. It is the best stand-up special I've ever seen.
That his interview with Marin was just. I was like, I don't think any of this is true, but God love this man. Because he was like, I read
3,000 books.
Yeah.
A year. I'm like, that's 8 books a day, fam. And you talking about that they're not like, like Dr. Seuss or something like, picture books or whatever. You're talking about like chapter books. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't like to be lied to.
Yeah.
Just straight to my face.
Well, I'm in Oscar movie. If you can't tell, I'm a movie nerd.
Yeah.
So I am in Oscar movie mode, trying to watch as much as I can before the Oscars. Then I've promised my friend I watch The Sopranos.
I've never watched
it. So somewhere in between there, I will watch. It's saved. I have a screen grab on my phone of a picture of him with his drink going like I was like, That helps me remember that I
Yeah.
will eventually watch that. Okay, so you got into it, but you don't really watch any comedy, so you just started doing it on those shows, and then you said you start branching out to other shows.
Beth booked me for a show.
Oh, okay.
Beth Tompkins is the first person to ever book me for a show, and it took off from there.
Okay.
She booked me for my first show. I did better than I thought that I was going to do. And to be honest, I did better than everybody else that was there, and they had been doing shows like the other people that was on the lineup, and I got booked for another show from that show, and then from that show that I got booked for another show, and then Rowan reached out to me asking me if I wanted to be a tiny stage producer, because we had been kicking it at the open mics, and I knew that her and Emily were like starting something, but I didn't know what,
They're little tiny stage in the
Yes.
early days.
Yes.
That they carted around. It's so
Damn
funny.
purple stage.
Yeah.
Yep. So Rowan started booking me for shows. I started producing for her. I was running the Corner Lounge mic
Yeah.
for a long time, for almost 2 years or whatever. And then Corner Lounge was like, we're not doing comedy in 2024. And we're like, okay. So, but now I run the Central Cinema tiny stage
Okay.
mic.
God love Harb. I feel, but I'm not a fan of a certain business that is catty corner to that building and the crowd that they bring in. And I can't imagine what those shows would be like if that crowd was still there, because a friend of mine does you sign cards for veterans that are in a hospital in Johnson City or troops serving overseas at Christmas time. So we go in there, and that's where we meet.
Yeah.
And she knows the owners, and all this is a big deal. And that crowd from that office building, catty corner, that refused to do it, kept bumping into us and drinking their shitty beer, their buckets of Bud Light. And same thing. I'm sitting there with my dad, and they keep hitting the table, and every time they do, he just looks up. I was like, he's about to jump over this.
He's going to, yeah.
He
It's
is going
about
to
be a problem.
unleash a fury. And I was like, but God love them. They need these idiots' business. I was like, because they're probably spending a lot of money in there. But
Yep.
so I can't imagine the shows. Oh God.
Yeah.
Those idiots.
Yeah. It was a great room though. It was a great show. I also realized that when I first started doing it, I was very, very hurt. I guess still healing from like my ex or whatever, because the guys that are my friends now, they was like, man, we thought you hated men. Like you would just get up there and like during your cold open, you would just talk shit about men for like 5 minutes. And like, sometimes you would introduce, there was one guy, shout out to Patrick Devine, AKA Rick Devine, also known as Dick Devine. The first time that he had messaged me, he was like, hey, can I do your mic? And I was like, sure. I don't really discriminate about who gets on my mic. But when I was introducing him, I don't remember this, but this is what other people say I said. It was like, I went off on a rant about mediocre men, and I said, and speaking of mediocre men, I want y'all to welcome another one to the stage, Patrick Devine.
But okay, so my question is, did you do the comedian thing of as you passed one another, you shook his hand?
Yes.
He still shook your hand. God love that, man.
Yeah, but and he didn't tell, like, I didn't know that he had an issue or whatever until somebody else was like, he fucking hates you, right? And I was like, what did I do? I never done nothing to that man. He was like, well, you did introduce him pretty fucked up. And I was like, oh, I said that?
Yeah.
That is messed up. Oh, goodness. Okay, but we are great now.
Okay. In that time that you were starting to were you ever nervous or anything before?
Every single time. Even like I just did a run of shows. I did Asheville, then Dunlap, Tennessee, then 2 shows in Roanoke, Virginia, then Bristol all last week. And before each and every show, I want to get in my car and go home.
Okay.
Before I get on stage, it would be much easier if I could just drive home instead of actually having to get on stage and face these people.
And is that the same when you're up there by yourself or when you're doing roast battle? Or
roast battle is different.
I'll plug my friend show. So one of my friends is Dan Taylor of Catacombs and Comedian. Dan. Dan is I love Dan and his wife. Like I texted them. I was like, I'm going to be in Nashville to see them. He was like, okay. We'll see what we can do.
Yay.
Like that. Like, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Those shows are a trip.
Yeah, no, I love doing Catacombs and Comedians. I don't get nervous when I'm doing that. I think what I'm most nervous about is just that I don't know D&D like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just have like not really understanding quite the rules, and it was much better when Hunter Roberts was on the team on the table or whatever, because he would actually like help walk me through things and not make me feel like special.
I think but you're not the last show I went to. I think Jeff got up and went and used the bathroom like 4 times during the show.
Drunk ass.
There were times where it's like, "Hey Jeff," like you need a micro or a speaker in the bathroom going, "Jeff, Oh my god!
Oh god!
So it's more when you're getting up there by yourself.
By myself, doing my material, because it's like my babies, especially like when I'm headlining, when I'm doing all of my material, not just what I know for sure is going to like hit hard, or when I do longer sets, I try and work in new stuff, like because I'm trying to try out things or whatever, and I get so nervous, like what if this doesn't hit? Or my closer is about my oldest son who's trans, and I'm like,
so I was at the Joy. I still don't know how.
Aladakun, I figured it out.
Oh my god! I was like, I wanted to go, "Hi, love your music." Still, your joy. I don't know. That was a very good show because I'm close with Shayla.
Yeah.
And that dude in the middle, I want to interview him.
Yeah, James Taylor.
Yes,
the only James Taylor that matters.
But I also feel, I'm not saying this as a critique, that will be a 7-hour-long interview because he has so many stories. He was in.
I spent the whole day with him before that.
Really?
So yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to buckle in for that.
Yeah,
like,
it's a ride.
Yeah.
He's gone through a lot, so much.
Yeah.
Here in Knoxville, like his story is amazing.
Yeah. I gotta get him on. Anyway. You were on.
But yeah.
So you're going and doing these shows
when I do my closer about my son.
Yeah.
Maryville, I did a show. I've done 2 shows in Maryville where I've walked people. People heard me talk about my trans son, and they just got up and left.
Is it Bracken's or
it was
2 Doors Down?
It happened at 2 Doors one time, but it was a Don't Tell show, so it was in some venue.
So I was going to say the only one, the Bird in the Book, but I feel like those audiences would be totally.
Yeah, Bird in the Book has always been well.
Yeah.
Treated me well, or received me well.
Yeah. Okay. I tell you, I went to Drag Bingo at Bird in the Book, and I saw something that did my heart very happy because we're in Maryville. And I saw a young kid. I don't know how to say this. I'm saying this because I'm trying to.
Yes.
There's a young boy that was gay.
Uh-huh.
And you saw his dad who looked like a redneck.
Yeah.
And the dad was there supporting the kid at Drag Bingo. I was like,
yeah.
Good dad. You're a good dad. Like, that you're out here. The kid was 9 or 10, like a younger kid.
One of my friends from Bristol, John Pruitt, he's also a comedian and the parent of a trans kid. And he is overall boots, like military, like Navy tattooed out or whatever. Looks very unsupporting. Will be the first one to drive to Nashville for those testosterone treatments.
That's awesome.
He tells a joke. He was like, "Shit, I need them too." Now I'm.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're starting to do comedy, and you're taking on a bigger role, like hosting, producing shows.
Yeah.
Is that something you enjoy?
Not at all. I love hosting. I love hosting.
I can't imagine trying to wrangle comedians.
But producing, like this roast battle that we have tomorrow night, trying to wrangle 12, because we had one drop and couldn't find another one for it. Like, that is so hard.
Yeah.
Trying to wrangle comedians. It literally is like herding cats. And I am an organizer. My day job, I am an organizer. I organize, like, movement people, organizers, activists or whatever, and I thought that was hard. People with their boundaries and all this stuff. Like, I swear, like, I was woke for a very long time. I was woke longer than I was a comedian, right? But being a comedian has really made me understand just how too woke I was. You know, I was just a little too much there. I was, you know, I was not giving people grace to be themselves. It was like
Yeah.
I was holding people to a very high standard of like morality,
Yeah.
and that's not human.
I've had very long conversations because I know how I represent, because I know what I look like, and I was like, but it's not the same. But I also have friends that are a little too far, and I will go, but you know that I'm either trying, or as one of my friends put it, they should know better because they know where your heart is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think we may be in a weird
Pendulum swing. We're too far. We were very much like not PC, like anti-PC for so long or whatever, and then when we started to swing back to the politically correctness, like we passed the good medium to where it's like we can't say shit no more, can't do nothing, like, you know, but I firmly believe it's gonna swing back and we're gonna get to a happy medium.
Somebody called it growing pains.
Yeah.
Like we're still in the growing pains.
Yeah.
And this is why I said, I hate to keep referring back to this, but I had somebody on that is non-binary, but also you can refer to them as she, her. They were they, them, she, her, which if I knew them a little better, I would have busted their balls and been like, come on, man, pick one.
But it's not that easy,
I know,
you
I
know?
But what I said was, I have like my parents. I was like, they very caring, very loving people. They don't hate they hate the right people. I'm sorry. They hate the right people. They hate the right people. But I said it went from the same thing forever to changing in such a short period of time. I was like, I feel like I need to be like an intermediary for them and be like, all right, whatever he is saying, he does not mean that in a negative way. That's the term he has learned over all this time. Because I've been at events where it's an older lesbian and then a younger person who prefers the term queer, and the older lesbian is like, I had that hurled at me.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
like that
derogatory.
term. I don't like that term.
Yeah.
And the younger person being like, why not?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because you didn't go through 30 years of somebody.
It's a reclamation.
Yeah.
It's a reclamation of the term.
Yeah.
So, like, I identify as queer. I say that I am
Here we
queer,
go.
but it is definitely, I'm realizing more that I'm like seeking companionship. Like,
Yeah.
I do prefer the companionship of a man.
Okay.
And there are some like systems of like patriarchy or whatever that I actually rock with, like, you know.
Okay.
And people like expect me to be like this staunch feminist or whatever, or like a big dykey lesbian or whatever, and it's just like, no, I really want to live a soft life and be taken care of, you know.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing shows, producing shows. Do you do like, I hate to say like a checklist, but like, do you like, okay, here's what I'd like to accomplish this year?
Yes, I do have goals. I have to set goals for myself. Otherwise I won't know what I've done.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to keep track of things that I do. So, but if I set goals and I'm able to, like, oh, I did do that or whatever. Like, yes, I did all these other things that I can barely remember, but I performed like my major goal for 2024, and I know I should set it higher or whatever, but it's my goal. I want to perform at Go Bananas in Cincinnati. I have never done comedy in Cincinnati. And I'm like, it was a huge part of my life, you know? So that's like number one goal for 2024. Then I have like goals about like trying to reach followers, doing more social media engagement, because that is how bookers want to book. Like if you have a good social media following, it shows that you'll be able to put butts in seats. And that's like comedy club's whole main goal, you know? So I'm like, fuck, but I'm funny. I am funny.
Well, and it's the weird thing of now what is blowing up on social media are, I think I've got a ladybug in here or something.
Oh, look at her.
I saw it crawling up the wall. I was like, I think that's a little ladybug. Oh my God. I just did the squirrel move. Squirrel.
I know. Like
Like,
were you gonna say crowd work?
Yeah. Crowd work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite comedians is guy Jimmy Pardo. He has a podcast called Never Not Funny. It's one of the first podcasts. Like he
shit.
he was pre-Marin, pre-Rogan, pre-Adam, pre all of them. Like the only people that were doing podcasts back then was Ricky Gervais had a weird like radio show paid thing.
Yeah.
But Pardo's one, but his thing is crowd work. Like, but he is good at it, and like people like Sarah Silverman would be like, "You are." Robin Williams called him the fastest mind in comedy.
God.
And that's saying something.
That is.
And like Sarah Silverman is like, no, you are one of the best. And he's not well known. And he's talked on his podcast a lot about all this crowd work stuff. And he was like, yeah, but when you do it, you can see the cracks.
Yeah.
That you don't, like the Matt Rife stuff. Like,
yeah.
he was like, but there's a lot of people that have gone there like Patton Oswalt and been like, yeah, but you're the real deal.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
So, do you know how manufactured Matt Rife is?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
and his crowd work?
Yeah.
You know, that's all his people in the front?
Yeah.
I was like, when I learned that, I was like, you cheater, fucking cheater, pumpkin eater. Everybody else out here working hard, and you just like, you're really manufacturing your whole everything.
But it does blow my mind that one clip that went viral of the MILF hitting on him.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. There are women I work with. They're like, can you like going to shows? Can you get me Matt Rife tickets? I was like, I will go. Name me 3 other comedians. If you can name me 3 other
Name me one Matt Rife joke. Yeah. You gonna get there. You gonna be disappointed.
We're gonna be here for a while.
Child.
So it cracked me up in knowing that, and then watching some of, as he started blowing up and started getting bigger, all of a sudden there was another dude on the stage. I was like, yeah, because he can't do it all himself. It's like, it was so wild. Now, I listened to an interview with him like a year before he blew up, and he was a funny, personable guy.
Yeah.
But I have learned through podcasts that some people who are good on podcasts do not make good stand-up comedians. There are people that I love on podcasts I've seen live that I'm like, nope.
He was good on like Wildin' Out. You know,
Okay.
the show, the improv show with Nick Cannon. Yeah. He was good on that. But, you know, editing or whatever, maybe he wasn't. But I'm like, that's
writers.
the best that writers. You're right. You're right. And then he got that new chin. And once he got that new chin and them new teeth, things changed.
He is. I don't know. It's the same thing of like, there used to be female comedians that they're poster. It's kind of the same with Matt Rife where he's shirtless and that were in like bra and panties and they're
sex sales.
But then there are comedians like, I don't know do you know Lori Kilmartin or Jackie Cation? Okay, so if I give you anyone, Jackie Cation did a special during the pandemic called Staycation.
Okay.
She opens for Maria Bamford, is one of the best comedians working today. Jackie Cation may be one of the funniest comedians working.
Hell yeah.
And her and Lori Kilmartin have been doing it since the 80s. Lori Kilmartin wrote on Conan, was a joke writer for Conan, but they have a podcast together, the Jackie and Lori Show. And hearing them talk about those female comedians that were like, yeah, they would come out there in like short skirts to where if you're sitting on the front row, you could see everything. Yeah. Like it was wild hearing them break down female comedians.
Yeah.
In a way that where it was like, well, because there were less female comedians, they got more opportunities early because you want to have females. So
that's how we got Jamie Foxx.
Really?
That's not his real name.
I knew that.
Yeah, he changed his name to Jamie because when he was doing an audition, he noticed that they were only calling women.
Oh, really?
So he put his name down as Jamie Foxx, and it just stuck after he got called. Yeah.
That's interesting. But it was interesting hearing them talk about it, and they were like, that's where the whole women aren't funny came from, is because you were seeing like 6 male comedians who'd been doing comedy for 15 years and a female comedian who'd been doing comedy for 3 years. She didn't suck. She was just at a different place in her development. And it's interesting. Those kind of stories are interesting to hear. Good God, why did I go down that rabbit hole? I can't even remember what we were talking. God, because we got on Matt Rife.
We're talking about crowd work and.
Oh, you were talking about building a social media following.
Yeah.
So that's another thing Pardo was talking about. He was like, I don't have a big social media following, but the people who follow me will be at every show, and we will sell out a room.
That's how Shelly Belly is. Shelly Belly, Michelle Ryder, was on season 3 of Netflix's The Circle, and I did a show with her at the top of last year in Gatlinburg, where she was the headliner and I was an opener for her. And she liked me so much that she asked me to open for her or be her host at Zany's Nashville.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
First time I had ever done Zany's. It was my first time performing in Nashville at all. And it was Zany's, and I got to open for her, and it was one of the best nights of my life. And every time that she comes to Knoxville or anywhere around, she has me on her show, and she has such a devout following, up like a few million followers across all social media platforms.
What is her name?
Shelly Belly. Just Shelly Belly. And TikTok, it always engages with her fans or whatever, but she just sold out Blue Ridge Comedy Club did not know about her until me. Okay. I introduced them to her or whatever, because she said that she had been trying to get on there for a while, but they just didn't know anything about her until they saw that I was opening for her. And like, Blue Ridge is my home comedy club. Like, I rock with them heavy. So they booked her, and they had to book her again, like extend her booking, because she showed out a show immediately. And then they booked her for a second day, and she did 2 shows that night or whatever and sold out both of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Zany. Have you played Zany's a lot? Zany's
No, just that one time. Best green room ever.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Well, it's funny to me that they have all the photos on the wall, and there are photos from 1978 on that wall. And it cracks me up because it's like, I think that's Ron White, but he's got a mullet and black hair. I was like, that's weird. Like, that cracks me up.
Yeah.
When I was sitting in there, I was just looking around. I was like, oh my God.
And that's another thing that's on my list for this year. I want to host the weekend at Zany's.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a full weekend, not just a show.
I was curious who the people that performed with Ian Bagg, there was a host, and there was one opener. Was there one opener or 2 openers? And then I think there's just one. And then same thing with Sam J. I think Sam J actually had 3 performers, a host, 2 performers, and then Sam J.
Okay.
I don't know if they were local. They never really said.
A lot of the times, touring comedians bring their own people.
Okay.
There is a comedian out of Nashville. Her name is Amber Autry.
Okay.
Really big in Nashville. She's like next up. Hilarious.
I think she may have opened for Pardo one of his shows because he does not bring an opener.
Okay.
Because I recognize the name, and she was funny as shit. Yeah.
Like, hands down, probably
To
the
where
funniest.
he was even talking about on stage, like, hell, I don't want to follow that. Like, he was joking. He was like, holy shit, how am I going to follow that?
That energy. Yeah, she has an amazing energy, but she has a comedian that she travels with now, Ritu, who is out of Nashville as well or whatever. But now when Amber headlines, Ritu is her feature. She takes her everywhere with her, and a lot of people are like that. Like, I am now Shelly's when she's in Tennessee. Right. Like, when she's traveling other places, she has other people's. But a lot of times the headliners, like, they will bring their own. Sometimes they'll bring their own hosts. Yeah, but they'll bring their own features for sure.
Well, the second person for Sam J. And I wish they put their name up somewhere or something. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I was like, no idea.
No idea.
I'm going to have to figure out how to look that up. Whereas, like, do you know Miss Pat?
I love Miss Pat.
So I saw her in Atlanta in December, and her opener, he was like, get out your damn phones and pull up Instagram.
I know. Follow me right now.
He was. But at the Zany shows, they were locked in the bag, so you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And but it was funny that dude was like, here's my Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow me right now. Yeah. And I ended up finding him. I was like, yeah, he's pretty funny. He was a writer. He came with her because he was a writer on the Miss Pat show.
Word.
She is, oh my God. I made my book club read her book.
Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh, God,
and
I love it.
They're like, oh my God, what did you do? Because it's, in my book club, I am the only straight man. Okay. It's all either women or gay men in this club. And they were just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, I'm going to see her in Atlanta. And they're like, no.
Okay.
I was like, well, you're coming with me. You'll be fine.
Damn, yeah, Miss Pat was a thug, man.
Yeah.
Man, her story is inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
Yeah. I remember where we were at. I asked you if you set goals.
Yes.
So is a goal for a year. So do you do like here's a 1 year goal, here's a 5 year goal, here's a 10-year goal?
I thought that I had a 5-year goal and a 10-year goal like a couple of years ago, but it had nothing to do with comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all about work, where I wanted to be in my career or whatever, and then comedy happened.
Okay.
And like really changed the trajectory to where like I'm really good at my job.
Okay.
But I could be better.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's one of those, comedy does take a lot of time or whatever, but I still get my work done. But that's no longer the priority. My priority is building my comedy career, and I do want comedy to be what sustains my family, because that is what brings me joy, and it is the one thing that I can depend on myself to do.
Right.
It's not a job that I got to depend on somebody else to pay me for or whatever. Like,
Right.
you know, like transactional in that aspect. I have to do something and then you give me money. Like that. Like comedy is kind of the same way, but it is, I set my price,
Right.
you know.
And you drive how much work you do or get. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, I'm going to work 40 hours a week and I'm going to top out at this amount or whatever. Yeah, it's none of that. How old are your kiddos now?
My oldest is 18 and my youngest is 14.
Okay. How have they seen you perform live?
Yeah, so they both have been around while I've been performing, but actually sitting and watching, nah, they not with that. They don't think that I'm funny. My oldest son,
Of course they don't.
I get it. I'm not even mad. But my oldest son, he understands the business of it. He understands, like, he was like, oh, well, where are you going or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, you know, be safe. How was it? I debrief with him, you know, like he
awesome.
really is like concerned of like, well, how did the show go? And I tell him, and a lot of the times, like we talk about this, my closer that I do with him, I go over that with him a lot, because I don't ever want there to be a time that I'm saying something that he is not good with, because I'll cut that whole shit out.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'll talk to him like, well, I added this tag. What do you think about that? And I'm like, it's good. I don't think it's funny, but I guess it's okay. Like, you know.
Oh my God. He needs to be a lawyer and be a manager.
Oh my God. Right. So he's the house manager. So in October of 2023, on October 10th, he had top surgery. We had to wait till he turned 18 in July, and then we scheduled his top surgery or whatever. So he's like been home healing from that. But ever since then, he's just been taking care of the house. Like he cooks. I get the Dinnerly boxes. So he cooks fresh meals for us like almost every night of the week. He makes sure that the dogs are taken care of, that the groceries are ordered, like anything that needs to happen. I'm like, is this what help looks like? I've been a single mom for so long. Even when I was married, it was like I was a single mom and I just had 3 kids, you know, because there was like no real support there. But I'm like, now I'm like, look at you. I need to put you on payroll. Look, you make my life so much easier.
Does he know what he wants to do?
No, not at all. And I wasn't, everybody's like, is Morgan going to college? Because he graduated last year. And I was like, no, Morgan is just kind of healing right now. I'm like, it was a hard, because he started his transition when he was in middle school. So, and that's when he was like non-binary in PAL. So that was interesting to navigate. PAL school district.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
God.
Yeah.
And
I
love Powell, but I've also lived here my entire life, so I have lived through knowing.
Yeah.
Hell, when I was in middle school, a black family moved in Halls, and there was a fucking cross burning.
I bet.
In the late 80s.
That's
And
wild.
I hate to say it, God love you, Halls. Wouldn't surprise me if it happened today. Not in the least bit.
Not at all.
And that's your neighbor, pal. That's your neighbor.
That's your neighbor.
Okay. So doesn't know. That's fine. I hate to say it at this point. I don't know colleges.
I'm not pressuring him to go to college. And all of my academic friends are like, he needs to go to college. I'm like, well, I never went to college.
Well,
so
also, you can maybe cooking is what he likes.
And that is what he likes. Yeah. And his culinary teacher from AE is at Pellissippi. And he's like, you know, if Morgan wants to come and take some classes for this or whatever, like, you know, we can get him in there for that specifically. And then like try and get him into like one of the like culinary programs that they have at the hotels and things like that. But I'm like, whatever he wants to do. Like, he's always been very artistic. He's also hella autistic. So, like, you know, there's layers to things. But I'm like, if what he has been doing, the only job that he has ever had is working for Cattywampus Puppet Council.
Oh, yeah, Rachel.
Rachel Milford, my baby. Morgan's been a part of Cattywampus for the last, like, maybe 5 years, I think. And now he goes to like the Y and the Boys and Girls Club and helps lead classes to help build these puppets, and he loves doing that, and he gets paid to do it. And that's been the most consistent job, the only job that he has ever had. So I see him like staying in that lane, in that realm, because he has always been helpful and he loves working with kids. And I think the reason why he loves working with kids because they, like, you know, kids will say some wild shit, but kids are not mean, like innately mean like that or whatever. They're inquisitive, but they're not mean. And he's been around a lot of mean people, you know. So,
and I think it's also as I've gotten older, it's also, I feel like you are treating people how you wish you were treated as a kid too. So it also could be that of just like, I'm treating y'all with a lot of kindness because I wish I had a lot of kindness.
Like, he really, really like holds people in their dignity. Like, no matter the age, and it's been one of those things. I'm like, oh, this is intergenerational organizing. This is what this is supposed to look like, you know? So
14-year-old.
Almost cussed him out. Wait a minute. Love him.
He's not
him
even
to death.
here.
He's not even here.
But he's sitting at home like, wait, there's a disturbance in the force.
Why are my ears burning? You know?
Something just happened.
No, but he is the socialite. He is very much the popular kid. He's playing football for the third time. Hopefully he'll see a game because he has never seen a game before. He has quit before games. Like, he quit the first time in 7th grade, signed him up for the rec league, the neighborhood team or whatever. And they were playing Heritage for a scrimmage, not even a real game.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He got hit on like the
Them
second
some big
play.
old boys out there.
Ooh, he quit at halftime.
Oh my God.
And I wasn't mad. Then he joined right before high school started. So last summer, he joined the football team. But he wanted to be like a defensive lineman. He's not his dad is 5'6". He's not a big boy. And I'm like, you can't defend nobody, fam. So, but I told him that, and I tried to tell him to, like, you know, gently, like, ease him into what I knew was going to happen. He was like, no, all my friends are. I'm going to be one too. Cool. And then I had asked him, I was like, you ain't got practice today? He was like, no, I don't think I'm going back. And I'm like, well, why this time? He's like, because they changed my position. I said, what they changed your position to? He said, wide receiver. I was like, oh, so they made you a target. And he was like, yeah, and I don't like that. And I was like,
just run across the middle. Yeah. Just run across the middle.
But he's a wide receiver again this time. I don't know what them coaches are doing, but they really got my boy.
Not defensive back. 5'6" is not a big wide receiver.
No.
Or how tall
is he? He's like 5'7", 5'8".
Okay.
Yeah. He's taller than my oldest
14.
son now.
He's still 14, so he's still,
Yeah, like, he's had a growth spur. He's getting up there. I can keep telling him, like, I will knock you down. Like, I don't... Violence is still in me, fam. Like...
Here, I'll give you what my dad told me. Dad's 6'4" truck driver. Boy, you'll never be bigger than me. Boy, you'll never be bigger than me. Boy, you may be bigger than me. I can still whip your ass. Yes, sir.
Exactly
yes, sir.
that.
Yes, sir. He didn't tell me until I was like 35. I've been playing poker with my dad and uncle since I was 8 years old. The shit that has come my way.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can tell me anything. Cause they know everything, and they are but he's sitting back, and I was like, yeah, he stopped playing basketball with me when I was like 15. He was like, yeah, you beat me.
Yeah.
I taught you and he was smoking a cigar. He's like, I already taught you everything. You beat me.
Yeah,
we were good. Look, son of a bitch. We didn't play for. Damn it, Dad. We could have still played. He's like, nah, I taught you everything. You're good. You're good. You're good.
That arthritis started kicking in too.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure.
Yeah. It was. So I'm only saying this. I am ADHD. Whatever. I am all over the place. But there's a meme going around right now of it shows somebody in somewhere and they're listening to Creed and it's really loud. And it's like inside a restaurant prepping for the day. And then it cuts to outside and it's muted and it's like what my customers see. And it's cracking me up. And there was one of a young woman sitting in her car prepping to go into her Brazilian jiu-jitsu class. And she's just sitting there kind of like rocking. And it's super loud. And then it shows outside of her car and it's just muted. And you could see her kind of rocking. And I was like, this is me. When I was playing basketball, I would crank up Tool or Big Daddy Kane to get hype and go play at Cal Johnson, and I would literally be sitting in the car, just like getting hyped to go in there and foul out before halftime. But it was like that.
Meg the Stallion gets me hyped to go into the gym. Like I'll sit in my car listening to Meg the Stallion. Like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, you can get in there. 45 minutes, you got this. Cause you a bad bitch. What Megan say? Like
Well, see, I would sit there and listen to Tool, the heaviest Tool, in my head, and laying back in my mom's '86 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, laid back listening to Tool get hyped for a game, and then just. And then get up and go out there and just
it was the slow rise
start elbowing people in the face. Or there was a kid, we were playing a 3-on-3 tournament in Windsor Square in West Knoxville, and we were all tough kids, we were rough kids, but I was like 16 or something. We were playing against some 13-year-olds. And the shit talk that I was doing this kid, and they were sponsored by Stefano's Pizza. I remember that. We were not sponsored by anybody. We were lucky to all have the same color shirt on.
Okay.
But this kid, and his dad is coaching him, and I am much bigger than him or his dad. And I'm just like, you're going to take that from, you're going to listen to your day, aren't you? Because you're a little bitch. And I was just like doing that. And he was trying to push back. And I was like, oh, I feel you. But it ain't doing nothing. And his dad was like, call a fucking foul. Like just screaming. I was like, I'll kick your ass and I'll kick your daddy's ass. Like, I never shit talked, but I was just shit talking.
It was in you. And that Tool.
That Tool was just like, it was so, there was one kid, I think he was like 11 or 12, that he jumped out of bounds, turned around, threw a basketball, and hit me right in the... And when he did, I picked it up and threw it at him so hard. Thank God he ducked. And then the ref came over and got in my face. I was like... I was like, thank God those days are behind me.
Man, the growth. We call that growth.
But I want to find my tape with all the hype songs on it and post it on social media and goes like, this is what used to key me up. Because I'm sure... If you're a 14-year-old listening, they'd be like, what the hell are you listening to?
Yeah.
You'd be making fun of it.
Yeah. I guess when I was like 14, like getting ready for like a sporting events or whatever, it would be No Limit.
Oh.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of No Limit. Gosh.
Oh, God. There was a friend.
Mystical specifically.
Oh. See, I was going further back where there's a friend of mine that's my age and we were talking. Shit, what was the TRU?
That mean I'm true to the game.
Yeah, that had Master P, C Murder. And he was like, C Murder is still trash. And I was like, C Murder is
there's
trash.
a meme going around right now of Usain Bolt running, and then it's like people running behind him or whatever, but Usain Bolt is labeled Silk the Shocker, and then everybody else is labeled The Beat.
Oh my God.
He is such an awful rapper. Like he walked so Blueface could run.
Oh my God. all those I've got tapes in the basement. That Ice Cream Man, Master P's. Oh God, I've got all 8-ball and MJG, all stuff. They are still, I will still listen to that every once in a while.
You got a cassette player?
No. I'll listen to it on Spotify.
Okay.
But yeah, there was one point I was like, man, I used to listen to, oh God. And then I never got into rap music of the aughts, the 50 Cent. It was all terrible.
Word.
Yes,
See,
it
I was a senior in high school when
Yeah.
50 Cent came out, and I took my senior class trip. Everybody else was going to Washington.
Yeah.
And I took some scholarship money that I had gotten. I went back home to Jersey. But not just Jersey, I went to New York.
Oh,
just to
geez.
get off in Grand Central Station or whatever. And have my uncle pick me up and drive me back to Jersey. Just because I wanted to be in New York. But I listened to Get Rich or Die Trying the whole it was 22 hours up, me just on repeat listening to Get Rich or Die Trying. You
my
couldn't
God.
tell me that I wasn't gonna marry 50 Cent that year. I was gonna see him in Grand Central Station at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was gonna fall in love with a 17-year-old.
Maybe. Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe. No, all that. The thing that got me back into rap music was Kendrick Lamar's swimming pools. I found that on a music blog because that was on a mixtape at first, and I was like, "Wait, who is this Kendrick Lamar?" And then he blew up, and I was like, "Holy shit! I called it! I called it!"
That's how I felt about Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I was a fan of mixtape Nicki, and then she blew up, and I was like, "I knew it."
Yeah.
And then now I'm like,
The one that blows my mind now is Vince Staples. I found him before, on mixtapes, or I think it was the
he got a Netflix show.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
He's got a Netflix show. I was like, man, he still looks like he's 24.
He is still a child. I don't know. And still one of the most profound minds. Vince Staples, have you ever watched any of his interviews?
Yeah.
The way that he is so direct, talking about hard topics that a lot of people in the industry really skirt, and they're like, no, we don't want to lose our whatever. And he was like, no, they're predators. You got these people up here. I don't do shows with predators. I'm like, oh, Vince, okay.
Yeah. And there's one guy I love. But man, as time wears on, it's getting harder to love him, is Killer Mike.
Oh, God.
I love him to death.
The cop lover.
But
bootlegging
it's
ass.
weird that his lyrics don't match what he's saying outside of his lyrics.
And I love Killer Mike.
And I did not know about the Brian Kemp photo until this last week or so.
Yeah.
And I was just like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I still remember the early days when he said something like, oh, it's Confederate flag's fine. Some of my friends still rock on. I'm like, no.
It's
No,
not.
I know I'm a white guy. Needs to see,
It's
but
not.
no.
Yeah, I think that Killer Mike has that thing. Ooh.
But his album was my favorite album last year.
Oh, it was
so good.
Michael.
It's so good.
Fucking phenomenal album. Fucking phenomenal album.
His unbelievable. And RTJ is still one of my favorite bands. But,
Hell yeah.
And I've seen them.
I saw them the last time they came here.
I think I've seen them 6 times.
Oh,
I
shit,
saw
I
them
only seen
open
it
for
once.
Rage Against the Machine in Washington, D.C.
Are you fucking serious?
They were supposed to perform the first time 2020 during the Republican National Convention in D.C., but it was 2020, so it got canceled because of COVID. They rebooked that show 4 times, and we finally saw them the last time, and it was unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I also saw Deltron. This was last August, September. Deltron 3030, Run the Jewels, and Wu-Tang Clan. And
Shit.
Run the Jewels and Deltron 3030 whoop the shit out of Wu-Tang Clan.
Really?
Wu-Tang Clan is just a lot of old men standing around.
I bet you. Yeah.
And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I love Wu-Tang, but no. Run the Jewels is too much energy.
Yeah. They put on a great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Oh, God. How did I get down this garbage?
I don't know. I liked it though. I like a good tangent.
It's not true. I can't get used to the mumble stuff.
No, I'm not a big fan of it.
The
And I
beats are
thought that
also
I was
too weird.
always gonna be hip and cool and with it. Nah.
What's funny is I am, but I am more for white girl music. White girl,
word.
there's stuff I found Olivia Rodrigo right before she blew up. I found Gracie Abrams when she was just barely dropping. I was like, Gracie Abrams. I was like, this is a really good song.
I like this.
I was like, this is really good. Wait, Abrams. Is that J.J. Abrams' daughter? Holy shit, what's going on? And now she's on for Taylor Swift and stuff.
Yeah.
And, the boy
Are
gene.
you a Swiftie?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
Not
Because
my-
I like you and I don't want to not like you.
The next statement I can say you may not like. me.
Oh shit.
I don't like Beyonce.
That's an opinion to have.
And I can explain.
Mm-hmm.
I can explain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like.
Where's my gun? Sorry.
Oh no, that ashtray's a lot heavier. Yeah. It'll do a lot more damage. It will do a lot more damage. Yeah. Destiny's Child didn't like that her mom and her dad were a manager, and they just cut loose the other young women, but not her cousin.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that every one of the songs she had a writing credit on it, including like Jingle Bells on the Christmas album. That really kind of was like, come on, man.
Well,
come on. I was like, but I see what you're doing because you're getting
Do you
money.
think she's talented?
Publishing. I think her music is interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of her as a singer because she was in what's that film called? Cadillac Records, where she played Etta James. And when she sings, she does the
the vibrato.
And I was like, Etta James did not do that. I was like, please don't do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But also don't have to like. Like,
no,
she got plenty of fans.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She got you can make fun of my favorite band's this band called Sigur Rós, who's an Icelandic band who sing in their own made up language. Mock me mercilessly for loving them, as opposed to Beyonce.
There is a guy named Shiggy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he was a dancer like a couple of years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, like really big in the So You Think You Can Dance or all those dance shows or whatever. But he just kind of came back out recently. I saw this today. He is a rapper now. Scat rap.
Scat rap.
Scat rap.
Huh. Beat up.
Yeah, exactly. But like very intense, like low melodies, like.
Okay, I'm gonna look him up too. Man, everybody you've recommended has SH in front of it. Shelly Belly and Shiggy. Okay. Yeah, Beyonce. So that was one. So I used to have a radio show during the pandemic, and I had Brandon on twice.
Yeah.
And he made a comment about Swift, and I was like, well, if you're going to take one for the team, if you're going to take one, I'll take one for the team. I'm not a Beyonce fan. He was like, oh, the Bayhive's going to come after you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You know what me and him bonded on? Also, like our distaste of this one singer. And I think that now more people see what we were seeing years prior. Alicia Keys. Never been a fan.
I liked her when she started. As a dude, I think she's a very pretty woman. Mm-hmm. She's a gorgeous woman. But after, like, I think it had its time. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think I knew that he wasn't a fan of Alicia Keys. Yeah. He and I would go back and forth on Jill Scott. I was like, no, man. I get Jill Scott.
Oh, yeah. No. He got Jill Scott. Yeah.
We would argue, air quotes, over Jill Scott. And,
she's headlining the Roots Picnic this year.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, me and Brandon both believe that Alicia Keys was not the greatest singer. My issue with her is that she records songs in a higher register than she can actually perform well live. And we saw that at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
That opening note.
But then they went back and fixed it later, which is so weird.
Like we didn't see it. They gaslit us.
Well, that's what, Kiss, that's what Kiss would do. Kiss had Kiss Alive, which was a live album. They went in the studio and fixed they sweetened it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I was like, that's some bullshit, man.
That is some bullshit.
Come on.
That is some bullshit.
I tell you, there's somebody I don't like, but I respect her.
Hustle.
Do I respect her?
Oh, shit.
I don't like Lady Gaga.
Let's say, who's
Lady
that?
Gaga. I like saying it wrong. Lady Gaga. I don't really, but I get that she is a great singer.
Yeah. It's not my.
It's the high school drama of all the front of it is just like
the theatrics.
Oh God, okay. This is a lot. Yeah,
she's a lot.
But
she's for the gays.
I thought her at the Super Bowl was absolutely great.
I wish I could remember that.
It was a great performance.
Okay.
Like, it was a great performance. Nobody's going to beat Prince. We have this discussion. I've been hanging out with the same dude for Super Bowl for 26 years.
Yeah.
And every year it's like, all right, what's this Super Bowl halftime going to be?
Jay-Z came and changed the game, though, because y'all are going to get nothing but black performers from now on.
I saw a TikTok on that. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But Prince was the best.
Yeah.
I I actually didn't mind Rihanna's.
I love
but
Rihanna.
I think it was just like, I don't want to say it wasn't boring. Like, I loved her dancers.
Yeah.
It was kind of a shame she was so
She
pregnant.
was-
So pregnant. It's like,
First of all, that's how you can tell that you're not a Rihanna fan, because she ain't never put on a great show.
Oh,
Girl
is she
don't
not?
dance, girl don't really
Okay.
sing or
I
whatever.
don't know.
Like, but she is Rihanna, so
Yeah, I love
yeah,
her.
yeah. We love Rihanna, but you don't watch Rihanna for the performance.
Okay.
You don't.
and the weekends was interesting.
I
It was
didn't
weird
like
as
it.
shit.
I didn't like it.
But it was 2020, so it was like, what do
Yeah.
you do? And then I actually thought as much as it was my music, I hate Eminem. I hate him with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Wow. You know what? As an adult, I'm not a fan, but I loved Eminem when
Yeah.
I was in middle school. And on a drive here recently, because I drive so much for comedy or whatever, like I always try and put on something I can sing to, like, that I can rap along with or whatever that'll keep me awake. And it was the Marshall Mathers LP.
Okay.
I can admit that.
I can't do it with him. But I thought that show was...
It was so good.
It was good, but I was like, it was a bunch of old men
It was
standing around. That was the only disappointing part. I will say,
Sitting
I
on
love
the
Mary J.
rooftop.
Blige, and when she came out, I was like,
Yeah.
I was at it. If you know the area, I was at a house in Madisonville, which I'm sure my buddy Greg's listened to this. And I was like, I don't think anybody else here likes Mary J. Blige. I think I'm the only one. I was like, but that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That was great. It was. I think it was old men. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
It
great.
was old, man.
And also hearing the later stuff of all the things that the NFL said you couldn't do, and they were like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, like Snoop was it Crips?
Yeah,
like he was wearing
always.
and there was like, "You can't do that." And he was like, "Fuck you."
I'm Snoop Dogg. Everybody know I'm a Crip. Crip. What you
It's
mean?
like, he's like, "Don't you come after me? I'll get my friend Martha Stewart who served time."
Sorry, yeah,
to
the
come after
felon.
you."
Martha the felon, okay? We call her Big M on the block.
Oh my God. All right. Is there anything parallel to comedy, like acting or improv, that you would like to do?
I want to try improv. People keep telling me that I would be really good at improv, but I think there is like Einstein Simplified is here in Knoxville. But I get very nervous when I go into new environments with like white people that I don't know, because I am a very specific person, and like either people like me or they hate me, and I don't want to do something that I love with people that don't like me, because then that will change my relationship to that thing. And I say I don't know anybody from Einstein Simplified. That's just my
3.
Okay, that's my fear that I have developed living in Tennessee.
I would say I think it's a very PG-13, and when they say something racy, it's very like that.
Oh no, I want to be able to cuss and stuff. I want to talk about
They're all very nice people.
yeah.
Save one. That's a story for off the mics. That is not a story for on the mics. But they are very nice people. I saw one of them tonight at the board meeting, Frank Murphy. He's a very nice guy, very sweet guy. I think they may be the only improv troupe.
They're the only that I know. Yeah. So I
may
would
have to start your own.
I know, like I would like to get an improv. There's an improv scene down in Chattanooga. I just don't want to have to drive down there for that. I'm so busy, like, to do that. But they're good folks. I like them as people, so I think that it would be a good thing to do. But to give it the time that I know that it would take to develop that muscle, like I can't do that.
Yeah, I can see that, and that is something like having to react to stuff so in the moment. Yeah,
I like it though. I like the idea of it because I am quick, and I like shocking people. I don't go for shock value, but I realize a lot of things that I say does just shock people, and I'm like, oh, pussy. No.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I like. For years, I would do stuff like I know Yiddish to a point, so I go, "Oh, l'chaim," and then be like,
Yeah.
that doesn't come out of that mouth right there. Or not to brag, I worked at Taco Bell in Fountain City,
Okay.
and there was a woman I worked with, Sharon, that I would walk in and go, Assalamu alaikum. And she would say, Alaikum salam, my brother. And you would see people at the cash register go, what the fuck? Because I was also shaved head, like back then, big, lanky, white dude. And every time Sharon would be like, why'd you do that to me? I was like, because I knew how you were.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Because it's fun.
Because you are your daddy's son.
I am my dad's son. Oh, my God. He has also asked me how to listen to podcasts. I was like, you can't listen to this. You cannot listen to this. No, please do not listen to this.
Please don't. You know what? Actually, don't even make podcasts no more.
Yeah, no, don't look at my Facebook anymore, Dad. I don't do podcasts anymore. Oh, yeah. The amount of shit I give a Dame. And there are other people that start defending a Dame. It's like, no, you don't get to do that.
No. That's my friend. I can say this.
I get to grab him.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Or them.
I
am trying to. That is one that I don't mean to, but I've just known a Dean so long. I am trying like hell to say them more.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep at it.
And I say dude and man a lot, even if it's a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Adeem called me bruh in the chat, so I'm like, bruh is now on the table. I'm definitely gonna be calling you bruh, fam. You opened it. You
changes the contact name to Adeem, bruh. Yeah. I love Adeem. Somebody freaked out because Adeem did the theme song to the podcast. They're like, I'm a huge fan of Adeem. If they did your theme song, I was like, oh, that dumbass. And they were like,
that's an icon.
What? And I was like, oh yeah, they're an idiot. And I was like, it's fine.
We love you, Adeem.
Hey, Adeem, I'm calling you a dumbass again. Is there anyone you want to work with?
I want to work with Miss Pat.
Oh shit! Yeah,
yeah. I would love to work with Miss Pat. I would also love to work with Ali Sadiq. I coin myself as a storyteller more than a comedian. He's the best storyteller.
He's playing in Chattanooga in April. Mexican Guy on Boots. Like I like it. He's playing in Lexington also. Yeah, look it up. Oh, you may be opening for him. Like
my God.
Yeah.
My God. Okay.
I found him because. So of all there's usually 3 people I mention on the podcast every episode. It's Jimmy Pardo is one, Bert Kreischer. I love Bert Kreischer.
He's coming here.
Yeah, those tickets are way too expensive.
Oh yeah,
I love him. He follows me on Twitter, which I think is amazing. He's awesome. Like, and apparently, Why
don't you reach out on Twitter? Why don't you just hit one of those? Man, I would love to see Bert Kreischer, but the tickets are
he has social media people now. He doesn't do it anymore.
No.
And his wife is also a badass. And she was like, we're taking that away from you.
I know that's right.
But Bert had on Ali Sadiq, and it was such a great interview. And then I saw This Is Not Happening with him where the Mexicans got on Boots from when he was in. I was like, this is one of the funniest.
That shit is so funny.
Yeah. And I will give you 2 other podcasts to list. The Crab Feast.
Okay.
With Ryan Sickler and Jay Larson. Now it's done. They did it and then they quit doing it.
Okay.
I first found Miss Pat through Bert. But her episode on the Crab Feast is one of the funniest damn things because they're just giving her shit the whole time.
Oh, shit.
Like, it's so great. And she is just, every once in a while, she catches them and she's like, you motherfucker. I love her so much.
Yeah.
And, but that guy, one of those guys, Ryan Sickler, also has a podcast called The Honeydew. And I think he had Ali Sadiq on there, and it was like, did you try it?
Yes, I just looked. He's going to be in Cincinnati.
Oh, he is. There you go. Make it happen.
Oh, my goodness. He's going to be at the Taft Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to work with Ali Sadiq. Like, I think that he's the greatest storyteller of my time.
Yeah.
I know that there have been many phenomenal storytellers, but I also told you I ain't watched a lot of comedy before. So
he should be bigger than he is.
Yeah.
There's a guy I love that's been around for a long time, Kyle Kinane, that I think is one of the funny. Like, his comedy specials are consistently front to back, beginning to end, funny.
Yeah.
And he tells stories and stuff on on a lot of his. He does dumb jokes, but he tells stories. But he is one that's like, he should be way bigger than what he is. He tells one about this guy he's sitting in a plane. He does 2 plane jokes, which are like old school Jerry Seinfeld, you know. But about how this dude comes in with like a plastic bag from the grocery store, and he starts rooting around, and he pulls out a pancake and just starts eating it. Now of course, his story is 7 minutes long. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Or these 2 people that are sitting next to him that get the blanket and start fooling around, and how he's drunk. Like, it's those 2 stories alone are just amazing. Kyle Kinane. But Kyle Kinane has been around a lot longer, but I feel like him and Ali Sadiq should be. But same thing with, like, do you know Dave Attell?
Yeah.
Dave Attell should be the biggest comedian in the world. He's one of his album Skanks for the Memories. It's got a lot of problematic shit on there, but it is, holy shit, he is one of the funniest people on the planet.
Yeah.
I got to see him live in comedy
Where?
at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh shit.
There's one time I was in New York, and here's a comedian I can't stand anymore, but Ari Shaffir was on the show.
A lot of people don't like Ari.
No. And he's coming here too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bijou. It's because he's just an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
he's done a lot of bad shit, but
Yeah, and then tried to make, like, he gaslit, like, everybody about the shit that he did too. Like,
But he was on, and it was like Sunday night last show, and I was leaving. My flight was early the next morning. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go see the show. And Dave Attell was sitting in the back, and he made Dave Attell go up. And I was like, I just saw Dave Attell at the Comedy Store. And as I was standing out front waiting to get tickets, Dave Attell came down the stairs, said, "Excuse me, gentlemen," and walked past me. And I didn't start crying, but I was almost just like, almost want to text my dad, because we used to sit in the kitchen and watch Insomniac on Comedy Central. I was like, I just met Dave fucking Attell. It's like, that's, yeah. He's anyway. Ali Sadiq, Miss Pat.
Yeah. I think, like, the great right now for me would be like Cat Williams. I think that would be amazing. But Cat Williams was also the first comedian that I've ever seen, like, perform live when I was living in Cincinnati, because he was born in Cincinnati or whatever, and he had came back and so I saw him, and I was like, I think that would be great. Like, this was before I even moved to, like, out of Cincinnati, so there was no comedy in my life at that point. We just had tickets to go see this show, and he fucking killed. He's always been amazing, and I've never seen a special of his that wasn't good. And there are other people, like other comedians, prominent comedians, who keep releasing specials or whatever that are just not that good.
Law of diminishing return. There are comedians that have a special that I think, hell, I'll mention his name, Tom Segura. He has a special that is one of the best specials I've ever seen, called Completely Normal or something like that. I think it's third. It's his first filmed. He had 2 on CD before that, but that was the first one. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then every special he releases, I'm like, nope.
It's not that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't like it. Don't know what is. There's a lot that are big that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I have watched a lot of Joe Rogan comedy specials, and I've only found one that I somewhat laughed at.
One of my closest friends is a big Joe Rogan fan. He likes to say that he's not, but I often, like, I'll pop up on him and he's watching Joe Rogan, or he'll quote Joe Rogan, and I'm like, fam, you're a fan. And it's just not my type of comedy, like the Joe Rogan, the Kill Tony stuff or whatever.
Like the Kill Tony stuff.
Yeah.
That's a group. That group always contended that Tony Hinchcliffe is one of the funniest people walking the planet. I was like, he's not. That's like all these people make a big deal about Shane Gillis. I'm like, I've never heard that man say a funny word.
So my friend is just like Shane Gillis, same, like the way that they talk, mannerisms, what they talk about or whatever, very Shane Gillis. And Shane Gillis is the one that told him that he should get into comedy.
Really?
And that's why he started doing comedy. But it's just like, he's like, just like Shane Gillis or whatever. Like, you gotta find your voice, friend. But he was like, this is my voice. I'm like, I know, but
I used to like Rogan before he went off the deep. I liked his.
I like Joe Rogan when he was the host of Fear Factor. Okay.
I liked it. I liked his podcast. Like, we just talked about the this with somebody the other day. In the early days, he would have his comedy buddies on, and they would talk shit. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then he actually was like, I want to learn about universal basic income. I'm going to have somebody on to talk about that. And it was fascinating. But then he started believing his own hype.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm out. I can't do this.
What is it? Red pilling? He started the red pill?
Red pill, blue pill, yeah, whatever it was. And I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. And I can't do Chappelle anymore.
Me neither. And I love Chappelle. I love the Chappelle show. I love when he came here. I see why, like, it just didn't go well.
Yeah.
The last time he came here, I went to the Late Show.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't get to do any material at either one of the shows or whatever because Knoxville is fratastic and people kept yelling drunk asses through the show or whatever. But I still wasn't mad with what he did. I mean, he gave us what he could give us, but his specials have been trash. And I feel like his issue, I saw a TikTok where somebody explaining it the best. It was like his issue with trans people is so played now that it's giving scorned client. It's giving
because I saw a lot of trans people going, who hurt you?
Yeah, who hurt you, fam? It seems hurt. Like,
I think they said baby, but who hurt you, baby? What's wild is I have heard comedians do trans jokes and do good ones.
Mm-hmm.
To where there have been times where I have been sitting in the back and I almost want to stand up and go, yes, that's how you do that. I was like, Somebody take Dave Chappelle. You can actually do a funny joke.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I think Ian Back did one. And I was just like, yeah, that's how you do that. Because you're not trying to hurt anybody.
You're right.
You're actually just making a funny fucking joke.
I have one of my friends made a trans joke just in general. I was like, you could probably tell that on stage. You do need to work it a little bit. But he was talking about like how he would date a trans girl. He was like, I'm not gay. He was like, but I would suck a trans girl's dick for sure. He was like, as long as she was hot. Like, if she was ugly, nah. Like, what?
Or really like, I don't know if it's little. I don't.
Why
bother?
Like,
sorry. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think I've gotten more particular in the comedy I like, but it's just like, no.
You know what you don't like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what I don't want to waste my time on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to waste my time on.
So that's another thing about being a comedian doing comedy locally. We spend a lot of time going to open mics, and with that, you're trying to get better. But you spend a lot of time around people who are not trying to get better.
Yeah.
And who have been doing the same jokes that haven't been hitting for like 3-4 years or whatever, but they don't try and fix it or try new things or whatever. And the amount of time that you spend listening to them do that same shit really starts to add up. And I'm like, that kind of takes so much out of me. Like, cause you want to go to the mic, but then you're like, oh, all these people are going to be here and they're not working on anything new. And you're actually like trying to work out stuff. Like, it's kind of like a deterrent from going to the mics, because like you want to surround yourself with people who are pushing, who are doing better, like, striving for more. Because for me, it pushes me to do better when I see people getting up there and failing, but not failing because there's like, okay, well, maybe this same joke that I've been telling or whatever, it's gonna hit this time. Yeah. No, I'm talking about people who are failing because they're trying new things, and it's just like, okay, well, that didn't hit, I'll change that around or whatever. But it's like comedians, like open micers, what I call open micers or whatever, they make comedy hard locally, and then they get upset at you when you don't book them for shows. And then like you try and be transparent with people, like, well, when you get your tight 10, I can book you for like this big show or whatever. It was like, I got 10 minutes, but it's not tight.
Yeah.
When
you got 3 minutes.
You got that.
Yeah, I get that. There's a bigger comedian, Christopher Titus, that he plays the Bijou a lot. And anytime he comes, he is more like a one-man show. Yeah. Like he has the Janet Jackson microphone thing. And he is telling essentially a story but every time he comes here in the middle, he was like, all right, I actually love Knoxville. He said this, and he is actually, I've met him, and he said this to my face. He's like, I love this town. My fans here are actually fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, in the middle, I'm going to try some stuff. And it's not going to be good, but I want to try this because I know you all actually can take it.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then I'll end on the big finish. But
Yeah.
we'll do stuff in the middle. And he would do stuff, and literally he would go,
Yeah.
it'll be better before the next time I come here.
Yeah.
Every time. I was like, I fucking love that he's actually still trying stuff, even though he's on this stage where he could just get up there and do 60 minutes and be done.
Yep.
I loved it. Yeah. And then you see people that don't even have that and aren't willing to try is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Cincinnati, you want to play at Go Bananas? Is there anywhere else on the bucket list of where you want to play?
I want to do more clubs just in general. I don't do a lot of clubs because there's not a lot of clubs around like in the region, but I want to do more clubs this year. I feel like you get better when you do clubs.
Okay.
Yeah. So any club that'll have me that I can drive to.
I think, was it? There's a couple in Raleigh during, that's a hall though.
It is, but I want to do shows in Raleigh. There is a comedian, I believe she's from Raleigh. Her name is Brandi Roberts, and she spells her name with an I as well. And people like who do comedy or whatever, they think we're the same person. We look
hilarious.
Nothing alike. She got dreadlocks. She's shorter than me.
Y'all gotta play a double bill.
No, we're planning a tour.
Are you really?
We're planning a tour.
That's
it's called
amazing.
Brandi and Brandi Presents Twin Where Have You Been?
Oh my God. That's amazing.
But it literally is like only specifically white women that think we're the same person.
Oh my God. Of course.
So we often are like texting each other like it happened again. Like who was it this time? We shared it. It was like she knows me though.
Yeah.
Like, not as much as you thought.
God, that's amazing. Drunk white women or just white women in general?
Just white women in general.
I've seen so many after a show that are doing the thing where they're holding their drink and they're closing their eyes. Oh, it's something else.
Yeah, that's why I don't go down to Press Pub anymore. It's not just the drunk white women; it's drunk white men too. When my hair's out, like afro, whatever, they like touching my hair. They
not trying to compare beer festivals and drunk women in my beard.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm like,
sure.
you're grubby, nasty hands.
What makes you think?
And they'll dig deep. And I'm just like, oh, it's like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, friend.
Oh, no.
That's intrusive.
Yeah, I'm not trying to compare or contrast.
No. It's just boundaries. People don't respect them. Like, there's no personal space.
Yeah.
When people think that, you're fluffy. Like, it's all like, I just want to touch you.
Nope.
Please don't.
Stay over there, please. Please. Is there anything you would like to see more of in comedy? Just in general.
Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see less white men.
Okay.
Yeah, comedy has always been like a white male dominated sport or whatever, or like avenue for entertainment. And I would love to see more diversity. I mean, there is diversity out there, but like when people are booking shows, usually I'm the diversity on the show. I would love to have like other black people.
You're the beginning,
like,
middle, and end of the driver.
Yeah, like literally, and I've had people say that, like, "Hey, do you want to do this show?" Realize I got 4 white guys on it, and we need to like break that up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I the only one?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
There was another topic, a conversation that I had with Brandon. I was like, does it bother you that you are the token? I was like, is token a bad term? He's like, no. I was like, does it bother you that you're a token? He was like, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
And I was like, okay. I was like, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It's like, also, you're not my only black.
Yeah. Like there's Chris, there's Yes, there's
Oh yeah. Running through. Oh God. But I had that discussion with him a lot.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's hard. And then, but like outside of the comedy, like what's harder than that just being people's token is like being a black woman trying to date in Knoxville.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like are into this scene or not, but like people are not checking for black women.
No.
And it is very, very hard to date. Like, especially as somebody like after my marriage, like I feel like I've healed now or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like intentionally seeking companionship. And it is like, I don't think that I'll be able to date in Knoxville. It's one of those things where it's just like the black men in Knoxville date white women. The white men in Knoxville date white women. Like nobody's checking for a 5'10", 300-pound comedian that is very like upfront and has a trans son. You know, and is an activist working in a social justice organization who travels to do comedy on the weekends. There's a lot of layers to me, friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, think about it.
I got nothing to add. Oh God. It's all a shit show in general.
It is like and like the whole like dating, social media dating, like apps or whatever, that happened while I was already married. So it was something that I had to jump into or whatever after like all of that happened, and it was just like so new, and I'm like, where Tendering, why are we, wait a minute, we swipe, I don't, what am I supposed to say to you? Why aren't you talking to me? Stop sending me acronyms. We don't use real sentences anymore.
No more emojis. Can you not send me emojis?
Don't, if
I am bad
one
about
more
sending
person
emojis. So.
Thumbs up me. On Facebook dating, you have the option to just thumbs up somebody when you match with them, and I did not know that I could thumbs up back until today, so I just thumbs up back, and then he thumbs up back again, and I blocked him because I was like, no, I'm not, I can't do this.
It's a fucking shit show. Oh God.
Exactly.
I could go on for hours on that. I'm trying to think. We've kind of covered every. I've got one big last question, and I think we've covered. Is there anything we haven't covered? That you would like to promote or get out there?
I mean, I was voted Knoxville's finest comedian of 2023 for a blank newspaper. That was a big deal for me because it was a write-in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people had to know me, like, you know, and that.
I've never gotten best podcaster. I've never gotten best graphic designer. I've never gotten best artist. There have been times where the best podcaster who won hadn't done a podcast in like 3 years.
Friend, DJ Wiggs was winning best DJ in Knoxville and has lived in Chicago for like 4 years.
So you're bringing it back.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm here. I'm performing. I'm the best. Boom. Okay.
Yeah, like
You're
Love Him to Death. Jeff Blank was the one that was getting it or whatever. Winning, like, Jeff Blank, love him.
Yeah.
Jeff Blank is not doing comedy right now.
Is he not?
There is not for real.
Okay.
I think the last thing that he did was he did a Don't Tell. He did a Don't Tell. I think it was like October.
Yeah.
Maybe. But like not as consistent as he was, and there's so many other great male comedians in the city right now that giving it to Jeff Blank, that's a lazy alley-oop.
That's what I found. What is it? Clinton
who?
Is it Riggs?
Riggs.
Yeah.
Clinton Riggs. Yeah, he's not here anymore.
Is he not?
No, he moved to New York a couple of years ago, but he was the funniest.
He was great.
Yeah, I love Clinton Riggs.
Yeah.
Great friend.
I was trying to think. So what's funny is Trey, I'm friends with Trey. He and Jeff Tate would come in always around Thanksgiving and do a show.
Trey Gallion. Okay.
And God love it, Rowan put on a show at the Central Filling Station during the pandemic. And it was cold as shit. Yep. And I'm sitting there, I wear shorts 365. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 3 degrees outside, I'm wearing shorts. And I'm out there in shorts, and Trey just keeps going.
Yeah.
And I think at one point he went, "Really, man?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, man." But I think I saw Clinton at that show. I think he performed that show.
Yeah.
And that was maybe the first time I saw him, and he was really funny.
Yeah.
And
he's casually funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. God, I sound like an asshole in saying I didn't get whatever. Congratulations on getting best comedian.
Thank you.
I will vote for you next year.
Thank you. This
Yeah,
year.
Oh, yeah, it's a new year.
2024.
Holy Jesus. Okay. If you could talk, this is the big last question. This is a heavy question. If you could talk to the 14-year-old version of yourself, what would you tell them?
Ooh. You're going to make it. Okay. You're going to make it. Everything that has happened and everything that will happen, it's just going to make you better. And don't wish that it didn't happen.
Okay.
Because very pivotal to who you are going to become. And you're going to become a wonderful woman. You can't see it now. You'll never imagine the life that you will lead. But don't think that things are happening to you because the universe hates you.
Okay. All right. That's a good place to go at. Thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you for having me. It did take us a while to get here.
We had ice storms in between.
We did.
Oh, my God.